Tom and Dan to talk to you about our friends over at myeternalvitality.com. That is Dr. Powers.
Yep. I'm so happy that we have a sponsor now, and this is a new sponsor that handles a lot of health issues that people have, especially when they're aging, including their hormones. Yep. I know that Andrea, Daniel's wife...
Oh, yeah, she's actually going through that right now.
Yeah, and she basically went through the whole process with
Did her
Dr.
full
Powers.
blood panel. Oh, yeah. Sat down with him, talked about it, and started dialing in a solution.
And then got a compound pharmacy to make her this basically deodorant stick with the hormones in it. Yep. She just applies it every day.
Specifically for her and only her.
Yeah, and that help. Making sure that your hormone levels are correct can help you live a healthier and better quality life.
You see it in the news all the time. It was in the news last night. I believe it was Holly Berry going in front of Congress in order to try and get more help for women. There was another famous radio show here in town that was talking about exactly the same thing. My wife deals with it. The side chicks talk about it.
Yeah, for men and women, but for women especially too, where like your cortisol levels are spiked and your body's emergency storing fat. It makes you harder to lose weight because your hormones are off and the chemicals are off in your body, and that is causing all these different problems.
Weight gain, hot flashes, you name it.
And for men too, as we age, our testosterone levels go down, and you could have low testosterone. You could be suffering from the effects of it and you not even know it. Yeah. It's good to get it tested just to see where you're at, because if you do have low testosterone, all these things is brain fog, these lack of energy.
Oh, you're low libido.
I mean,
you gain weight. I mean, there's a ton of
weight
things.
Gain, like all this stuff can be solved.
Muscle loss. I mean, there's a lot of different things it can affect.
And if you're going 40s, 50s, 60s, it's good to go into old age with a good muscle base, have energy, work out, be healthier. No, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to be funny sometimes.
I really do think that's the key to longevity and living a better, high-quality life is, put some muscle on as you get older.
You got to investigate.
Your body is dying, so this is a way to actually counteract that. And he does, like, medically guided weight loss. He does a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
by the way, celebrities have been doing this for years, and now it's gotten to a point where, like, Dr. Powers is doing it for the regular people.
Sure. Yeah, and that is the number one what he says. He just wants to try and get you, friends, that's how it started. He just wants you to feel better. And you can check at his website, myeternalvitality.com. You can read about everything on there.
Fill out the form. He's a free consultation if you just want to see him. But
super nice guy. You'll enjoy talking to him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I suggest you at least get tested, see where you're at. We all, me, Daniel, Andrea, went through the whole process.
Even Hard Drive, the robot intern did. His is real low.
myeternalvitality.com. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on YouTube and Twitch, and you can subscribe and watch us Monday through Friday as we bumble through this silly thing called life.
Let's talk about Manscaped.
Hey! Wow. How do you shave your pubes? How do you shave your downstairs pubes? How do you shave them pubes?
Or your beard.
Yeah, or your beard.
You can go to manscaped.com, promo code Tom and Dan 20 for 20% off your purchase, free shipping worldwide.
Yes.
You can get
skin-safe technology for all of your parts. Big, small, it cuts them all.
I like this little portable shaver you could throw in your car and shave your face.
You could shave your face with it, throw it straight out of your sunroof right into the ocean if you wanted to. It's that small. You can do that. There you go, Manscaped.
The box doesn't say your beard will thank you.
What does it say?
I don't know if I can say it on ACT.
You can say anything
you
now.
can say balls.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
your balls.
It says your balls will thank you.
Yeah, your balls. Their logo is balls.
Do you have any idea what we've said on the show?
We've gone further than balls.
It does a terrestrial radio. There's no one monitoring.
I just don't want you guys to lose your client again.
It's fine.
No. We'll definitely lose them again.
They're already gone. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done.
Don't put this in there, Trizzy.
Yeah, cut this part out.
Anyway, so Kenny Sampson's here. How you doing, Kenny?
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Go Magic.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking day yesterday, but I would say, going back, you were talking about what you were dealing with the boat dude who was disabled, and it took him like 10 hours to get around the counter and stuff. I had to deal with that too. In the production work that I've done, there are often times I have to work with a bunch of creative people, to print like step and repeat banners and logos and stuff like that.
We're familiar. We're superstars.
Yeah.
We've had a step and repeat now and other times.
I had a client, and just consistently the logos that we were being sent were just super pixelated. They were they were wrong. Like they just weren't like the updated logos, the logo from the 80s.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
And it was
we're known for our pixelated logo.
Yeah, it was frustrating. It took a lot of time. It wasted a lot of time and money and stuff. Come to find out, this happened the last couple years, and I found out this year everyone was like, "Hey, these logos are going to be good." Apparently, the person who was procuring you the logos was blind, and they were using like speech to text in order to like procure the logos. And I'm like,
"So you're anti-blind," is what I'm hearing.
But you put the blind person in charge of
logos. Who knows logos better?
Logos.
I mean, who knows logos better than the person who anything can be a logo? The sky's the limit. Right?
So
talk about thinking out of the box. Have someone who is sight impaired design your logo. I'm serious.
Now, why would they do this, Kenny?
I don't know.
Okay.
And it really boggled my mind. I was like, I get, obviously.
Why did they tell you that, though? That's the weirder thing. Wouldn't they be embarrassed that went on for 20 years or whatever? And right? You don't say that. You just go like, hey, the logos will be good this year. And you're like, why is that? And they're like, we don't know. And you just leave it at that.
I think they were trying to...
Or was it a joke? That was a joke. They were making a joke. They were like, it was a blind guy in charge of it.
It wasn't, because the organization in and of itself is for groups of disabled people.
Right. So there was no way it wouldn't be a blind guy, because they're all blind guys.
Well, it's not all blind.
Yeah. I mean...
well, your chances are higher.
I'm just saying...
The hearing impaired should be in charge of the logos.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not... I'm not saying...
And you let the blind guy do sound.
I'm not saying...
We figured it out. We figured it out. You let the blind guy is doing what I do. He's mixing console.
Yeah, but you could hear better if you're blind. And same thing with...
I know, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. Like you get your other sense...
You get super hearing.
Yeah, your senses heighten, whichever, to compensate for the other one.
It's like being on ayahuasca.
I guarantee, though, the person who did that was a Tom and just wanted to avoid the uncomfortable situation and didn't realize that. And they're like, let's just let him do it.
So you think if Tom worked in your business and a blind guy gave him horrible logos because he's blind, that Tom wouldn't have the chutzpah to tell the blind guy to get the regular logos?
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly what would happen.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
Give this man a prize. I think he's correct. And it would go on for years.
Yeah, nothing can be done.
Yeah, nothing can be done.
So, Kenny, the roast of Tom Brady was last night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it was all over social media. And there was two things that bothered me. One of them...
I didn't even watch it.
I was just
over
impressed.
Tom Brady.
I will say, I was impressed that Belichick was there. For him being a grumpy old man.
That's the first thing that bothered me. Leave Belichick out of this.
He doesn't have anything going on, and it does look weird to have him there. It does.
Because they had him for the opening skit where he's telling Drew Bledsoe, the Tom Brady's coming in, the whole thing that happened when Tom Brady took over Bledsoe, which started his career. But Belichick is just reading the teleprompter because he's not an actor, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's awkward.
I got this new guy who's coming in here. He's going to be on the team, Drew.
Yeah, look it up. Play the audio because it's awkward. And then I'm like, why did you bring Belichick? I understand they want the ratings and they want people to talk about it. And they're like, oh, let's have Belichick in there. It's just when you have him involved in the skit, it's awkward. And it's like, it makes me like, oh, Belichick, you ruined it. I want you to be a grumpy old man that has no fun and it's only about football, and then you die that way. I don't want you having fun doing Tom Brady roast, doing skits.
Well, I remember when it was a big deal that Belichick signed an endorsement deal with Subway. Because everyone was like, wait, that's out of his...
it was a charity thing.
Well, yeah, but then he actually appeared in the commercials. But what was crazy is they asked him about it like a press conference. He's never eaten at a Subway in his life.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, I'll get...
I love the $5 foot man.
No, he didn't get... And he butchered it. He was like, I'm going to get one of those super subs or whatever they have.
Get the super duper. I remember that. We talked about it on the show. Yeah. I can't find the opening because it's all split. Everything now, if you want to search for it, you have to preemptively load it up.
Yeah,
bless it. It's too hard to find anything.
And that's not the big headline news, which I'm sure might be your other angry comment.
So the next thing that you see all over social media, and by the way, it's pretty funny. Nikki Glazer killed it. By the way,
she's pretty good at the roasting. Yeah, she's always been really good.
And also, before I get to this, what do you think the motivation for Tom Brady doing this is? Because it's not money. Is it just
humanize him a bit?
Is it a celebration? Like you get all A-list celebrity Kevin Hart is there. Like Kevin Hart's not participating in any roast with anybody else except for Tom Brady.
It's a vehicle, right? I mean, it pumps you up. The whole thing of it is a promotional vehicle. The whole thing was fake.
But does Tom Brady need extra marketing?
Yeah.
It's an ego thing because if he's not playing football for this past year.
Yeah,
it's
not relevant anymore
in his brain because he's been doing football more in his life than anything else. So by not playing football for a year, I think it's like, hey, I just need to refresh myself in the public eye because he's going to join broadcasting.
That's what they're
next
doing.
Year.
They're getting his face out there ahead of time and softening us to him being like this likable guy, and he's not. Not to me.
Really?
Like, I don't look at him and be like, yeah, I want to see this guy on TV. I think what they're doing is they're getting us used to seeing him. So when we do see him a lot, hopefully we'll like him.
I think like Tampa Bay Tom Brady actually, because like New England Tom Brady, everybody like,
he's still weird. He's just a weirdo.
That's the thing. I think he's more of a weirdo, and I think he's doing something like this. Like, see, I'm not a weirdo. I'm more.
I can make fun of myself.
Like even my wife's in the chat room, and I agree with her. She's like, he's not likable at all. He's not. Like, I'm not saying he's not like unlikable. I mean, I'm sure there are people that like him, but he isn't like. When I look at Tony Romo, I'm like, yeah. Look at that guy. That guy's fun. That's a fun guy.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what that is. You could call. I don't know what you label that.
Well, because he's too disciplined. And he's too much of a winner. So it's like
even
it's hard
the Kraft thing was weird.
Okay, so
is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah. So
how do people not think that's fake?
Well, it's obviously planned.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
And so, because they for sure had multiple production meetings and with Tom Brady involved and everybody, Jeff Ross.
Saw every joke.
And
every single joke.
They for sure had some things off limits. Like, I'm sure Tom Brady's like, don't make fun of my kids or whatever.
Don't talk about like tongue in the strawberries and me and my kids are tonguing each other.
It's weird because they did make fun of his kids. Not to a certain extent.
Right.
But.
Right. Again, he saw the jokes.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So they had pre-production meetings. Like at this level, like there's no way they're letting some of the best comedians in the world just come up with whatever joke
with him.
Whatever joke they want. So then Jeff Ross makes this Kraft joke, which was a mild
what did
massage.
He just say? Like, does anybody want a massage? It was like a...
That was almost exactly the joke.
Well, he made a joke that Tom Brady had a meeting with Robert Kraft when he first and this is a famous story in the NFL, that he's like, hey, he was drafted in the 6th round or whatever, and then Tom Brady's like, I'm going to be your starting quarterback. I'm going to take you to the Super Bowl, whatever. He told that to Robert Kraft as like a rookie, standing on the sideline or whatever.
Sure.
And then Jeff Ross made the joke. He also said, would you like a massage? This is joke.
It's funny.
And then Tom Brady gets up. First he laughs, which is the tell that he's not really mad at it. Like, he laughed at the joke, right? Yeah. On camera. So he's not that mad about it.
And it was done by the guy who does those jokes. It's by the roastmaster
Will
general.
Smith also laughed at the Chris Rock joke.
Which, he could just be insane like Will Smith is. But
they're both weirdos.
But then he got up and he's like, knock this ass off or something like that.
Yeah, you know what that reminded me of? When old, what's his name in The Walking Dead was like, they farted with the wrong guy. It's not a real reaction. Yeah. It's not an authentic reaction. The whole thing's fake, and anybody that believed that, it was like, oh man, Brady really shut it down. The whole thing's fake, and you're an idiot.
So I'm inclined to believe that. But it's, I would say, a not 0% chance that it was real because Tom Brady is so weird and out of normal reality, and he is sheltered in life.
But it was Jeff Ross. It's the only guy that would make the joke. It's literally been it's as orchestrated as anything else.
And I understand that, but if you're Tom Brady, you know nothing about Jeff Ross. You know what I mean? Like, he is a non-factor in your
they
world.
had pre-production meetings, and they all met each other.
Yeah,
read this.
But he doesn't, again, I agree with you guys, but just in a devil's advocate way, it was like, I'm pretty sure Tom Brady's like, oh, okay, this guy tells roast jokes without any background, without any history. Doesn't matter how many pre-production jokes, there probably was a point where Tom Brady laughed, he looked at Kraft looked uncomfortable, and he goes, uh-oh, I need to stand up for Kraft because, I see he's uncomfortable.
Now,
see, my take was when Tom and I were talking about it this morning. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Like, my take was...
Robert Kraft was there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my take.
Robert Kraft knows they're going to make massage jokes.
Or he's like, uh-oh, right?
He was arrested on tape. Like, it was the biggest joke. Like,
and how's the only way you can do it, right? In that room, if it's your roast and you're completely in control of it, the only way you can do it is if you have the main guy, Jeff Ross, do it. Then you get up, and in order to save face with your dumb old man friend, you're like, all right, knock that off. And then that way, you've done your due diligence to Robert. You've let the joke get out, which is what you needed to do.
But why does he even need to say, like, it is weird. Like, okay, so
I get a text later from Kraft. It's just an easy way to be like, I got your back. You're good.
So, but that was pre-planned, like Jeff Ross and when they were talking about, like, Tom Brady's like, I'll get up and tell you to knock it off. Like, they knew that Jeff Ross knew that was going to happen.
I do believe in that. And they may not have discussed that, but I think the plan was to act, hey, that's across the line.
Yeah, because it's like, make fun of me, don't make fun of
don't make fun of my old man, buddy.
So, but even further than that, what's weird, if that is the motivation, it's weird that isn't even is a motivation with the fact that Robert Kraft voluntarily showed up to this roast.
Which makes me believe it even more.
Which makes me, that someone around Robert Kraft's like entourage must have told them, like, hey, someone's gonna make fun of the
I believe
Asian massage parlor thing.
Yes.
Like, you're sitting there, like, you're a huge target.
100%.
That's a huge funny joke. Like
it's going to happen.
Old man gets the hand at the Asian massage parlor. Like, so someone must have warned Kraft. Like, so he must have an inkling
to interact with him I'd have to interact with him for 30 seconds to know how dumb old man he is.
Or is he so out of touch?
I have to interact with him for 30 seconds. I can tell this on any man. If you put me in front of any dumb old man, if I can interact with him for 30 seconds, I can tell you whether or not you can pull a Brady and just, like, push
how
it
with
over.
it are you?
You can just kind of, like, he didn't even hear it.
You have to realize a lot of billionaires are surrounded by so many yes men that no one dare even bring up that he could have a remote chance of being made fun of.
Yeah, better to just it's better to just let it happen because you know it's going to happen. Brady knew it, and then he doesn't even hear it because he's dumb old man, and then you just stand up and be like, knock that ass off, and then you've saved face, and it got out.
And then all your people have to do is be like, how I'm appalled, sir. How dare they?
Yeah, because the relationship between Robert Kraft and Jeff Ross there's no relationship.
No, of course, he don't care. Or everybody knew, and they knew that was going to be a viral moment of the show to help promote it.
Yes.
And that is the most likely what happened.
And then Robert Kraft knew, he knew, Brady knew, and like, hey, let's create this viral moment because guess what? It is a viral moment that's all over the internet, and like these are all millionaires.
But that joke,
marketing,
that joke is the joke that makes your roast legitimate, right? If you you need is footage of that joke, and everybody's like, oh, he made a Kraft joke.
Yeah.
And then
is the joke legitimate? No,
it's not even that bad.
It's a hacky joke, to be honest.
Nobody, it was all planned. It was all planned to be released, so everybody would see that joke and go like, wow, they're really not pulling punches.
And market the specials so people go back and watch it.
Correct.
And good on Jeff Ross, because his reaction, he really did seem like he was like, oh, wait,
what are you doing?
But he's
the best at doing
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm giving him credit for that, because his reaction made it seem like he did not.
I'm yelling at you.
I mean, he came out in O.J. Simpson is in hell. They wheeled him out there and like roasts have notoriously. I like the fact that they do them uncensored because it's Netflix, which does it's a breath of fresh air.
Not enough smoking though.
That
I want them all vaping or smoking because it was better. I remember watching the old Friars Club roast with my dad. Occasionally, and everybody was like drunk and smoking. Yeah, I want that. I want an unhealthy road. I want it to be like everybody in a room killing themselves with alcohol and cigarettes and then being mean to each other.
Well, there was a time, though, that Comedy Central was airing them uncensored. I mean, they'd be at like 11 o'clock or midnight
like
or
Pam
whatever.
Anderson, Roseanne Barr, when they were doing all those.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and like, they went, I'm guessing they went over some of these jokes with Tom Brady, but like they made fun of Giselle cheating on him with a jiu-jitsu instructor and that whole thing, or like, there was a lot of those jokes and stuff. So obviously, and that's his kid's mom. You know what I'm saying? So, like, so he must have been cool. So that's another thing, too, is like, if he never did this, right, and he just goes and does a broadcast, because, like, the famous NFL players, like, maybe some of them have done it, but I'm not sure. Like
a roast? Yeah, a good one would have been Dan Marino. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, but I don't think he takes jokes very well.
No, I think he smash nothing well.
Yeah.
I think he'll knock you off the stage.
And they could straight up bring up him banging that reporter, get her pregnant or something.
Yeah.
Did you have an abortion? Yeah.
One segment would just be all of his YouTube videos of him losing his GD mind when he flubs a line on teleprompter.
Like, you may have killed the best quarterback of all time, but you had your DNA. Anyway,
what is wrong with you?
Well, I'm just saying they get up. But anyway, so if Tom Brady never did this, I can make the argument that that nothing really changes, and he's a successful broadcaster.
Yeah, but this is the step. You need to go when you're an unhuman alien. Weirdo.
Yeah.
Where you're non-strawberry eating, making out with your kids.
Yeah, but
then in order to make yourself normal, you have to appear human by letting the other humans pick at your weirdness to a point where we're like, okay, you've done enough. You're one of us
Also,
now.
if he goes into broadcasting, he needs to protect his relationships with the teams.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying this does that,
too.
But if he's going to be working with it, he doesn't want to have he can, comment on a bunch of other teams, but he now no longer has access to the Patriots because Robert Kraft is upset.
Yeah, I guess, I
think it's just a big PR move because, like, I don't feel like the Brady on, like, commentary, like, doing sports, I don't think that that's as popular as they thought it was going to be when they started setting it up for him to do that this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of this was planned because they know that this guy isn't necessarily the home run they think. Like, when he signed it, look at the amount of money and years in advance he was getting for this big lucrative deal. But it's like, nobody has told me yet that he's good at that.
No,
nobody's been like, oh yeah, he's really good at that.
Drew Brees was horrible,
because
he very much
he
so.
Real bad,
so straight, and but Tony Romo is awesome. You know, what I'm
Greg
saying?
Olson's pretty good.
Peyton Manning is great.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's pretty good. I mean, I'll give him some love. Matt Ryan's pretty damn good. When you've got all these other guys that are arguably better than Brady, you have to do some things to make this guy look good.
Well, we haven't heard Brady do it yet, and also
you can just tell by the way he carries himself is not going to be good.
When he threw the Lombardi Trophy from boat to boat, like that would to me changed his perception publicly to like, oh, and then he was drunk on tequila, stumbling, and they were like,
but I think that's the outlier, right?
Yeah, well, that people started thinking about him differently after that. They're like, oh, this guy's fun.
But he was also in the Ted movies, and he's done goofy commercials. You know what I mean? So,
but it never quite looks right. Like, it
true.
Always looks a little like, what are you, man? Like, it's never been comfortable.
Yeah.
Like him in anything in any commercial, on any appearance, even in the roast. I'm sure if you look at it, like the Robert Kraft thing when he stood up, it's like, oh man, you are a weirdo.
There was when he hosted SNL too, like back in the day. And there was a sketch where they were making fun of those old sexual harassment, workplace videos.
Yeah.
And a guy comes up and be like, "Hey, Sheila, how's it going?" And she was like, "No, big X." And Tom Brady shows up wearing just tidy whities, but because he's handsome Tom Brady, that's okay. And then that made it. That was the crux of the joke. But I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna normalize him. It's Tom Brady goofing around in tidy whities, and nothing happened from that. People still thought he was a weirdo robot.
Well, because you have to be that to be the best NFL quarterback of all time,
right.
to win that many Super Bowls and stuff and his entire life has to be so disciplined with his diet and his exercise and his training that that how the hell do you come off, to anybody
you're
in
not
the
meant
public?
to come off like that. You're a sports star. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how can anybody relate to that?
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
don't even care how you come off because you're not supposed to do that anyway. You're Tom Brady. This is from the chat room. Jim Kenobi says, I don't get roasting sports people. I feel like the roast only hit for comedians and actors because it's a show and these people don't act or perform. It's kind of what Tom was talking about. Yeah, I mean, that it is a little fish out of water.
Look at the NFL honors, because the NFL honors opening monologue is just a roast of it, and then how many times do they cut to the players in the audience and they look uncomfortable or pissed off?
Well, also...
And it's the tamest jokes from, Keegan-Michael Key, you know what I mean?
Right. Supportive jokes.
Yeah, well, then Dak Prescott will, be all upset that they made fun of the Cowboys.
Well, because these guys aren't used to being made fun of, and they've always, since they were in middle school, sheltered, and this guy's got a chance to make the NFL. Like Dak Prescott in high school was NFL bound, and then so he was always a celebrity, at least in a small town or wherever. I don't know where Dak Prescott went, maybe Texas, or I don't know where. But anyway, so
I don't know the history.
He went to Mississippi State.
He's been coddled since high school and surrounded and insulated, and not very made fun of by the public.
His name is Dakota Rain. That's where Dak comes out. It's Dakota Rain Prescott.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, you should do a sports segment on our show. This guy knows. He knew Mississippi State. Dakota Rain Prescott.
Yeah, I happen to actually
That's his
know
real
facts
name is Dakota Rain? He has a porn star name? That's a porn star name, right? Dakota Rain?
All right, we're going to take a break, and Kenny's going to stay for our BDM show later today.
I didn't agree to that.
But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Tyler from the Orange County Library System about his book about Florida.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. You still have time to book. This is the last month of Tom and Dan Cruise. Tom and Dan Cruise 2024.com.
I want a pair of Tom and Dan board shorts.
We made those with Villain a while back.
I didn't buy
you don't have
I do.
You
I
still
do
have
have a pair, but they're too big, though.
Yeah, mine too.
Mine are too big. They'll slide right down.
Yeah,
Most of the board shorts I wear slide right down.
Yeah.
Because I have a frog ass.
Yeah.
And
if you lose
a beer belly and a
weight
frog
at all,
ass.
Yeah. I'm going through that same problem where all my shorts are now
You need
all
to do
baggy.
some squats. You need to do some butt blasters.
There's no amount. That's genetics.
I might get a butt lift. I might get something pumped into mine.
I
might get a big old Madonna fudge ass.
Yeah, the plastic surgery is pretty good.
Ross,
nowadays,
did you hear that? I commented on Madonna performing somewhere, and I was like, look at your fudge ass. And she gave me a heart.
Madonna did?
Yeah, she gave me a heart.
It's a bot for social
That's
media.
what Tom
bot.
says, but I'm pretty proud of it.
I think Lenny Kravitz used to call her fudge ass. Probably,
Yeah,
he
he
probably.
did. And did you see Lenny Kravitz go to Buc-ee's?
No.
In Daytona Beach. My wife told me. It was Lenny Kravitz went to the Daytona Beach Buc-ee's, and when he got off the bus...
His pants fell down and a beaver came out.
I didn't realize that when Lenny Kravitz, and he goes dancing off his bus, right? Because every time, when Lenny Kravitz, Prince... I'm trying to think of other people, but really Lenny Kravitz and Prince. Whenever they walk, they dazzle walk. They're like,
Yeah.
They walk with purpose and they walk with pizzazz. So he gets off his bus and he's walking into Buc-ee's. I didn't realize until Lenny Kravitz went into Buc-ee's how little he is. Because Buc-ee's is just filled with massive fat Americans. And here comes little Lenny Kravitz dancing by the jerky aisle.
He's 135.
Oh, he's so tiny, dude.
Yeah.
He's jacked. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he looks amazing, but I didn't realize how tiny he is.
He's a slight human.
He's like a prince, like a little dancing magical man. So he went magically dancing through Buc-ee's, and he got a big soda, and then he's like taking pictures with everybody, and then he like looks at the camera. He's like, "Thanks, Buc-ee's," and he gets back on the bus and drives away.
American brisket.
None of those people knew who he was. Not one of those fat asses in Buc-ee's knew
Okay.
who. Not one. Not even one.
American Woman was a hit.
Well, but like I know who Lenny Kravitz is.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you that if Tom saw him in Buc-ee's, he's gonna be like,
no, well, I'll notice Lenny Kravitz.
"Oh, sure," and
you'll
you'll notice him. But will you know it's Lenny Kravitz?
You will definitely be in a. Is that Lenny Kravitz? Kravitz
But you
situation.
but he's not going to know the name. He's not going to. The name is not going to be.
No, I know
no,
Lenny Kravitz.
You do not. No,
Is
you do
that
not.
a black rock artist?
Yeah, like you knew the guy that did the robot on the Chappelle show.
No, I did know that. That was EJ's fault.
That's a deep cut. That was a deep cut.
I
for
think it's
Ross,
happened
but-
multiple times.
Yeah, you always
Lenny Kravitz dresses like Lenny Kravitz.
You
So he's
mix up your favorite black guys. You do.
No, I don't.
You mix them up.
I don't.
It's the first thing I told Vince Taylor too.
He's got leather pants. He's got scarves. He's an open shirt, some like blouse on.
I don't know if you would know it was him. I think you'd be like,
you got
"Is
dreads?"
that-" You'd be like, "Is
Oh, does he have
that-"
dreads anymore? I don't think.
See,
he
you
does.
don't even know. He does have dreads.
Are you describing Lenny Kravitz or the vampire Lestat?
Yeah, his dreads are back. See, these are things you should know.
Oh yeah. Current Lenny Kravitz. I only know.
He went
like,
through a fro phase.
98 Lenny Kravitz.
He went through a fro phase.
Yeah.
You need to know it ain't over till it's over, Lenny Kravitz.
When
Mama says Lenny Kravitz.
like when Lenny Kravitz looks old, I'll know that I'm old.
Well,
Because he's like-
when does he get the Tracy Chapman gray dreads? He doesn't have the gray dreads yet, or does he dye his dreads?
Oh, he dyes them because he's got to be in his mid 50s.
He would look cooler with gray dreads. I think gray dreads are the look. Like I think, like
Yeah.
if I'm tasked with, if you make me choose a character in any fantasy video game and I want to look like a badass, it's gray dreads.
It's the
Every time.
ultimate combination of cool and experience.
Yes, it is, and
Yeah.
only and supposedly, like from what I'm told, only black people can have it. You know, or there's a level of appropriation. Tom would look crazy with gray dreads.
He's 59 years old.
Yikes! He's on the team, right?
And
He's on the
he
team.
looks unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know if this is a current picture of him.
Let me see.
I mean, he looks.
Is he in a bucket?
Oh yeah.
He looks.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
I mean, 28 years old.
Well,
This
let
guy
me get
is
the
a
Buc-ee's.
vampire.
Let me get the Buc-ee's video. I'll just get the Buc-ee's video and I'll show it to you.
So you can't run from it forever. So when does he finally look old? 69?
No, the running is only for white people.
Like because like someone like Brad Pitt, who obviously has good genetics and has been a sex symbol all his life. Like you look at old man Brad Pitt now, and he is noticeably old. He's not,
Fair.
He's good looking old man, but he is an old man.
So he gets off the bus. Look at his dreads. Look how good they look. Look how good he looks.
In Tom's defense, he is wearing leather pants.
He's got a little purse on and boots. Look how little he is.
59. That is unbelievable.
Black does not crack, man.
Yeah.
He looks beautiful.
I mean, that's you made a deal with the devil.
What's he
that's
getting? What does he get to
insane.
eat? He's got a whole bag of stuff. He's got a lot of Celsius drinks. I can't drink those. They make my face red like Joe Rogan. If I drink a Celsius, it blows my face red. I get as red as that couch.
Yeah.
Did you see the news junkie drank a Celsius? He almost died. He put the mic on his chest. He's like, ah!
I really like Celsius, but it was the last thing my kid had before his appendix exploded, and probably unrelated, but I will not touch him.
We're giving him a lot of good press today.
I
A lot of
like
good
him, but
Celsius.
it's
Between
just
us
in my
and the
mind.
news junkie, we're all pro Celsius.
So I'm glad Ross is here because I discovered something
He's
yesterday
never said
that I thought that I'd never go back to, and so I've been a proponent
Black?
of
Is he prostate?
online shopping for a while now, and talking about stores and how I'll never go back.
Don't
And-
you dare.
And
You
so-
had another pet store encounter?
No. This so Crystal yesterday, she's like, let's go on a date to Costco.
That's not a date.
Like she's like, the kids are at home now. We're leaving the kids more and more at home by themselves.
Yeah, that's good to know. And between that and yesterday, you telling people that you don't lock your doors, everything's great.
So like Tommy's about to turn 10, and it seems like they are fine for hours by
Yeah,
themselves.
give him
no
a couple
problem.
guns, they're good to go.
Yeah.
It is true.
And they don't even move. They're on their devices.
Just
and
put
we get
air
all-
tags on them.
Are you sure they're not robots?
They might be.
So
Put an air tag in their shoe.
So at first I was like, "Oh God!" I don't want to go to Costco because, and this is the last time I was at Costco that was when I changed my life, and I ate those 2 hot dogs and I had a blood pressure attack. It was the day of
I
the
forgot
Super
about
Bowl.
that, yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot what year it was. I think it was
Were they like what do you eat,
2017.
breakfast hot dogs?
2017.
What time did you
maybe,
eat them?
18?
Around 11 o'clock?
No, it was the afternoon, And
before the Super Bowl, you pre-gamed with a couple of Costco dogs?
And
they're only $1.50, man. It's such a good deal.
So but it's funny because in 2016, I didn't appreciate that. But now 2024, because I did have another Costco hot dog.
And
they're gigantic.
Huge.
But so,
are they still half pound?
I think they do the big beef franks still, yeah.
So
it's a Kirkland Frank. I know that.
Yeah.
So I'm mad, and then I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to go to a store. So we go to Costco. We walk inside.
Is she driving or are you driving?
Oh, Crystal's driving.
So she drove you to Costco?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm just making a note.
Anytime we go somewhere, my wife always drives because she gets car sick and she criticizes my
I've given up. Andrea doesn't like to drive in the Tesla because I let it drive us, and she says it makes her car sick.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'll just drive in my car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine.
Dude, I drove my wife to work today because I had to. We got the one car right now, and I had to come here after. And I'm driving her to work. And if I hadn't driven her to work, she was going to take my brand new Subaru Outback with her, right? And I'm driving her in, and she's on the phone to her boss, and she's like, I'm going to have to sign out a truck to take to the job site. And you know what? Give me whichever one has the worst suspension, because I'm going to be driving up and down the street looking for potholes, and I want it to really bounce when I hit a pothole so I could tell them to, where to pave and stuff. And I'm like, you were going to do that in my car? I was so mad.
I blew out 2 tires on a pothole on Corinne, man. You got to be careful.
So I was starving when I got there because I ran earlier.
Yeah.
So I
do not go to Costco without getting a hot dog and a Mountain Dew. I walk in the wrong way. I get a hot dog and a Mountain Dew, and then I am prepared for action.
So I was like, I'm going to get a hot dog because I'm starving. Now they have the order screen where you just order and you just pick it up. I mean, it's so much easier. Why doesn't everybody go to that? Every fast food place, you should not.
I want a person.
There's no more reason to talk to a person.
I want to be like, how do I say your name? Usnavi. What is that?
I kind of want it in the middle. I want a person, but I want to be able to poke their face.
That's not a bad idea. So are the items written on the face?
Yeah, left cheek is hamburger, right cheek hot dog. You poke them where you want it.
So I know everybody knows this, but you got to understand this is blowing my mind right now because a hot dog and a soda, big ass soda.
Oh God, here we go.
$1.60, and
with tax.
I didn't even. With tax, I didn't believe
this
it.
up on a Friday Free Show, and you looked at me like I was an idiot.
No, but
I brought it up with the same thing. Remember, the Phillies had $1.50 hot dogs in the stadium, and they finally raised the price. It's been like 190 years or something.
And so, Costco, I guess, Ross was talking about it. They said we will not raise our price. I guess it used to be $1.
We talked about this story. And then when Sam was here, remember the quote is the guy was like, if they rise the prices, they're not Australian. If they rise the price, that's why I went Australian. Costco. If they raise the prices, I'll kill you. Like that was there's a quote. I'll find it.
I'm sitting there on the plastic picnic table and they have to eat, and I'm eating this jumbo hot dog, and I have like this big ass Diet Coke. I'm like, I cannot believe I paid $1.60 for this. In 2024, this is insane. Anyway, so then
that and the rotisserie chicken in the back. I forget what it's like, $4.99 or $5.99, and it has been for like the last 20 years or something.
$5.99 for a whole chicken,
a whole cooked chicken.
No, this is from Snopes, and look, don't at me. Just it's the easiest thing to pull up. Did Costco founder say, "I will kill you" to CEO who wanted to raise hot dog prices? And the answer is absolutely a definitive true. It said an exchange between Costco founder Jim Sinegal and Costco CEO Craig Jelinek over the cost of their hot dog and soda combination, a staple of the brand that has not changed since 1985, frequently goes viral on social media. As the story goes, Jelinek wanted to raise the price of the hot dog combo, and Sinegal did not take it well. He said, the exchange says, Costco's co-founder once said, "If you raise the price of this hot dog, I will kill you." That's the quote. Just a very simple phrase.
So, I haven't been in Costco for 7 years, right? It was the last time.
Oh my God. This is like the plot of the show Fallout.
I go like twice a week.
Like the last time I was in there, they had trampolines hanging from the ceiling.
You want me to blow your mind?
Like that's
Still
a different time.
I'll blow your mind. I don't think I've been in a Costco in 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, well,
or a BJ's, any type of wholesale.
So
I have a small family, and all of my family's dead.
I started walking around. They've got like a outdoor garden patio section. I got some fertilizer, and then I got like
fertilizer. I thought you were done with plants for fitness.
No.
Back into plants?
Well, I'm not back into it, but I'm holding on to them.
Okay,
I just reorganized.
It's like me walking my scooter stuff. I'm like, I'll do it one day.
I'm still fertilizing them, so I keep them alive, the ones that I have. And then so I started looking at outdoor patio umbrellas with LED lights up. Like I buy a hose, like a 100-foot hose. It was $25 or whatever. I'm like,
you haven't made it out of the first 2 rows yet.
I know.
You're in the front of the store stuff.
So then I walked over to the TVs and I looked at.
Oh, this is what you were texting me. By the way, he'll never text me. Ever. I get to help. I'm at the studio and it's on fire. Nothing.
Yeah. So they have an 86er there. They have
a big 86er.
Yeah, for $9.99.
Yeah.
An 86-inch TV that I just stood in front of for a while, and I'm like, oh my god, 86-inch!
Yeah.
Like
what
you would have to be a millionaire back when I remember that, like
in the 90s,
or even in the 15 years ago.
There wasn't such a thing as an 86. What are you talking about? You're talking about witchcraft.
Like Sony made this for LeBron James or whatever. He paid $28,000 for it, and then so I'm looking at it. It's $9.99, and I'm like, I have to get this. This 86-incher. And then I started.
Yeah, but you're there with your wife.
Yeah.
What are you calling her now? The Stone Crow?
You know what the problem is? She bought a 75 for Father's Day 5 years ago or 7 years ago now.
Oh, well, it's a piece of... I almost cursed. Well, now it's obsolete.
But it
can't even get a picture of it.
And she got a deal on it, and it was like $22.50, like $2,200.
Much like AI, everything is rocketing faster.
Yeah, and then so now I'm like, we need to put this 86 in the living room, put the 75 out in the pool now so I can watch NFL.
Yeah. The one in your pool's got a line in it.
No, I know.
And I don't even like going over for pool parties now because it's hard to watch the games.
And so, but then I'm walking around Costco and they got some good deals. I don't know if you know them. I'm like,
Ross has been saying this for forever.
And we dropped like $350, which blew my wig off. But
what'd you get?
But it made me an endorphin rush from buying a bunch of garbage.
$350 of veggie straws.
Yeah, I bought some of these. They have Thin Mint Bites, a whole big bag full.
Oh, yeah. Thin Mint Bites are badass.
And then the meat. I got the meat in the back.
You got something fun.
They got plants now. Anyway,
You are so lucky you didn't go there when they had this traveling seafood show, Tom.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scream. I love seafood, dude. Really?
Yeah. It goes from like Costco to I just every once in a while I'll be at the Costco and it'll be traveling
like
seafood
fresh
day.
Fish and stuff?
Everything, dude. Like whole fish, crab legs, the whole.
Oh my god!
A big bag of crab legs.
And that's all Maisie wants to eat now is shrimp, and I'm like, baby, it's a lot of.
And dude, Costco, they got big bags of frozen shrimp, and I'll throw those on the grill. My trick is I melt some butter, dip the frozen shrimp in it, and then throw it on the grill. Amazing.
All right, I'm down.
So and I know I've talked about this before, but because I never go into stores anymore, I forgot about the psychology of just browsing
I've been
through
telling you this.
A store, seeing stuff you didn't really need before. Like you weren't there to get it.
And thinking, do I have the money to buy this?
But then you buy it, and then you get an instant endorphin rush.
Yeah,
You're just like, I bought,
it's like masturbating with your money.
I bought a new Adventure Dad cooler backpack, which had the chest
how many
strap.
Stanleys can you put in it?
It has two like slits that you put like a frozen bag, it comes with like a frozen or like a thing you could freeze. That's like a sheet of paper.
For grandmas to bring their groceries home.
No, and then you put it in the two.
You said
slits.
like 4 sentences that all amounted to it is a frozen thing you can freeze.
I was like, imagine if you filled a gallon Ziploc bag with a little bit of water, and then you laid it flat on a table, and it's just a flat. It's probably only like a quarter-inch thick.
Yeah,
and it sounds like one of them things you can freeze.
Yeah, it's like an ice sheet, and you slide it in like an ice paper.
Oh, frozen.
And then you can put all your drinks.
And then all the different. And I bought that. I don't even need that. But I was like, oh, this is.
When are you going to use that?
Like guess
go
it's
on
the
the
future
boat.
of my hiking.
Yeah, the hiking, all the, because I have that Chubby's cooler I use in Moab, and I was like a hunk of junk.
You're
So
going to wear a backpack cooler on your boat? I doubt that. I highly doubt that.
But you don't understand, Ross.
It's like, sir, have you been drinking? I noticed you're wearing a backpack
I bought
full
a bunch,
of beer.
and then immediately as I'm driving home, I got boxer more.
That fast?
Yeah.
Still in the parking lot?
Yeah. But then,
But Costco, you can return anything, anytime.
oh really?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know the policies.
People will return their Christmas trees after Christmas.
Oh, wow. That's one step lower than TV after Super Bowl.
The Costco subreddit is like it's constant. Like, look what I saw somebody returning. The only thing I've ever seen that they turned out, I guess like a Costco manager does have like a certain amount of discretion. A couple weeks ago, somebody had a picture where they were like, look, this guy just tried to return a 7-year-old couch and they wouldn't let him. And he's got a goddamn leather sofa on like a Costco little cart, and he tried to return it.
What was the silliest thing you bought?
Probably the bag.
What's the silliest thing your wife bought? Because she's been she likes some stuff.
She
She
just bought
goes there,
food and
family,
smart
yeah,
stuff.
she's been
toilet
going-
paper towels.
She goes there,
What's the big
once
thing
every
you save
quarter
on?
or whatever.
What's the big thing you save on? Toilet paper?
I don't know. I mean, we spent $350. I was like, God damn! So it didn't seem like we were saving on anything. But she knows all the grocery stuff. I didn't care about that. I cared about the TVs, all the outdoor patio furniture they had.
I like to look at the watches.
Yeah,
yeah.
they got a jewelry section.
Good section of watches. They sell gold and silver now.
Yeah, do they?
They sell just straight up ounces of gold, and $370 by the way is some rookie numbers, Tom. Like my Costco people in the chat, I'm sure are like $370. Would you get one thing?
Oh, okay. You go to Costco. You dropping like a what? Over 500?
I mean, I remember when my mom and dad had a Costco thing, and we would go, and this is like what? The 90s. When my mom and dad would go, and granted they'd only go like once a month, but when they'd go, it'd be like we'd pack the SUV. It would be like 4 huge things of paper towels, all of the toilet paper, and my dad spent like $700.
90s Costco was a different animal though, because they figured out like individual size serving now, whereas like in the 90s you just got a 5-gallon bucket of peanut butter.
That's true.
You got
like to take care of it yourself.
You got an 18-pound can of green beans, and it was just like, there you go.
I remember how
you have to sort them out yourself.
My dad was literally fuming, can't talk mad that we had a jumbo canister of Gatorade, the powder, and then he went to mix a Gatorade after mowing the grass on the riding lawnmower, and he opened it, and it was hard as a goddamn rock.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And he's like chiseling it. He's like, "What? We're buying so big?" He was so mad about that.
All right, let's talk coffee because then another subject Ross knows about.
You don't drink it anymore, do you?
No, I haven't for a long time. It gives me anxiety now.
Oh, really? Like you got too much caffeine? Because you are a coffee
like I'll slam Red Bull or whatever, but like if I have the last time I had a sip of coffee, it just makes my heart start pounding. I start breathing shallow. It just gives me anxiety now.
So every morning,
having that too.
It's weird.
I have 1 or 2 cups of coffee.
2? You've gone to 2 now.
Some days,
Nice.
What do you do? You got a Keurig? You brew it?
Keurig,
Okay.
So, and I'm not fancy with it. I know, Ross, you were actually,
kidding.
like making good coffee.
Keurig, and I use it as well, is sort of the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. I just need easy,
Yeah, because I got buddies that have they'll light like a pure fire from a small candle, and then they'll have like a Bunsen burner full of like mineral water, and then they're boiling that gently to dip it over onto a cheesecloth and I'm just like, I can't do that.
Tommy from Veterans Coffee has told me that the most important thing is the fresh beans. He said most of your like grocery store coffee has this weird mold on it that just grows on coffee after a certain amount of time, and then that's what gives me anxiety. Basically, that's what ruins your coffee experience.
So you would need the fresh beans, where they're super expensive, and then grind them.
They don't
yourself.
have to be. You can get decent beans. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another step, which I know you're not a fan of.
It's harder.
I used to grind my own beans and when I first got my first house, I bought a very simple but a nice coffee maker, and then I would grind my own beans, and I would clean it and descale it, and really took care of it because I liked a good pot of crisp, non-bitter, just nice, mild, regular diner coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't really chase it as hard anymore. I just kind of get what I get.
Yeah. And I wish I loved myself enough to put in the time to make
you measure
myself,
the beans, you put them in the grinder, you grind them, you put them in there, you loosely pack it, make it nice.
Yeah. I can't, it just seems like too much time in the mornings.
I know.
I'm always
Me too.
running. Anyway.
But it does taste better, and even the aroma of the oils
man.
being released of the
So
grind.
good.
Yeah, it's just like even just smelling that, you're kind of like, holy
Yeah.
smokes! Why don't I do this all the time?
I don't drink it anymore, but my wife drinks it, and I'll go just get a whiff every once in a while. I'm like,
Yeah, the beans are insanely good. Kelly's is an ice cream flavor, I think, this month, which is like fresh ground coffee and peanut butter. I'm like, what?
So Crystal, I was getting K-Cups, right? And I was just getting them delivered once every
What
month
kind?
or whatever. Just Dunkin' Donuts, Colombian K-Cups, right?
dude, Costco, you can get a box of like 1 million for
No, I know,
$25.
yeah.
But do they go stale because they're already ground,
How
right?
could they go any staler? than
Right,
they are?
I know.
I think they hit a threshold.
They're like, there's no coffee in them left, so you're good.
And so then it's been bothering Crystal because of the waste of the K-Cup, because you know,
yeah.
it's a one plastic cup, you put it in there.
You don't even get me started.
And then
I
I
remember
throw it
when
in the trash.
Green Day started their coffee company, and all the commercials I got on Facebook was Billy Joe Armstrong telling me, your K-Cups are ruining the earth. Well, shut up.
You don't completely remove the aluminum top, rinse it out, and then recycle it?
I do not, Ross.
I did like twice.
You know, I did switch to the plastic one where you grind your own beans, pack it in there, and then put the little mesh thing on top of it. That is the most difficult and messy thing to do. It's horrible.
Dude, my wife, I love her. She's so smart. But she put her K-Cup in. She popped it down and cracked the seal, you know.
Oh.
But for some reason, she opened it back up, and the K-Cup got readjusted, and she popped it back down. So, you know, where like the 3 little vampire prongs go in?
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
the 3 vampire prongs are in, but there's also 3 pre-existing holes that she's already punched. So when it shot that jet of water down into the cup, all the grounds and water shot out of the cup into her machine.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
So,
Poor woman.
so then Crystal's like, I want to start buying ground coffee, and then you use the put it into the K-Cup container.
Don't do it.
You know, make your own
No,
K-Cup.
you
It's
can't
like
do that.
plastic things, a screw on, or
There's
whatever.
no way you can do that.
So
You can do it, but it eliminates all of the purpose of the K-Cup, which is
Yeah,
ease
yeah,
of
okay.
use.
All
You
right.
might as well be making a French roast press at that point.
yeah.
So-
just make a pot of coffee.
Just make some coffee.
She's brought it up, and then finally she bought the coffee grounds, and then she's like, I promise you, I'll train you, I'll show you, it's
I'll
easy.
train you.
Yeah, I'll show
it's
you.
not a first job.
She's like, it's
What does
just,
she think? You're a monkey? That you learn things?
well, I don't think he can do this either. I really don't.
she's like, it's just as easy.
He's
don't
not
worry.
known for his precision.
And then so finally she wore me down because I don't necessarily like waste either, and I don't like pollution or like making the world worse.
The only reason you are wasteful is because you're lazy.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Tell people that. Tell people that.
I just don't want to put in the effort for the minute.
You're not pro. You're not pro waste.
So this
Things you don't like. Waste. Your wife talking to you.
yeah.
Well, it's a waste.
But also, this is the grander problem. So anyway, she gets me the thing. Today was my first day of using it, and it was harder than I thought.
I told you. Yeah, this is the man who said he could make a crunch wrap.
So, but it's spilling the grains everywhere, and then I have to spend a time putting the plastic on right, and then I put it in there.
It's just a lid, man.
I make it. It tastes like I put.
You didn't put enough.
Grounds in there because
Yeah,
the
it's
K-Cup
weak.
had more. Yeah, it's weak.
it's weak.
And then
you got to get your mixture down.
then I got to clean the grounds out of there.
Yeah.
And then it's like it was all.
You got to
like,
rinse them out, and you got to put them in the trash. You can't put them down the garbage disposal. Don't put them down the sink.
Yeah.
No, that goes into your compost.
Yeah. So I don't do it. What? So my question to you guys is like, is an abnormal amount of trash that we're creating in America really a problem? Because I don't hear
Not for me.
I don't hear that many people talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't see it
it's
on
a
social
problem
media.
for other people, I'm sure.
Like I don't see like people posting about the massive trash landfills.
No,
like,
we've already accepted that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like most problems that are actually a problem I see out there. The landfill problem, I don't necessarily see that many people complaining about it.
Because collectively, we're all hoarders, and we've accepted it, right? We're global hoarders, and we've accepted that we're just walking paths now.
Like I know the plastic, that thing in the ocean. What is it called? The plastic island,
Pacific gyre.
I see that, but
But I'm more positive about that. I'm like, look, we made an island. That's magic.
But I'm like,
the ocean's picking it up for us.
Yeah.
Putting it all in one spot.
My God.
but that's other countries dumping their trash in the ocean. We don't do that,
That's
right?
not America.
A lot of that is like Japanese fishing nets.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like a lot of most of that Pacific waste is fishing nets that they just cut off.
So it's not my K-cups ending up in the ocean.
Some of it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it in the ocean? I thought I'd give it to the
K-cups. Didn't you see those kids dumping their trash in the ocean? Your K-cups could have been in their trash bag.
No, that's their trash. I'm just saying, me personally, are my K-cups? They're going to a landfill.
If your garbage rig goes to the beach,
and then they're dumping it in the landfill. Yes, I know I'm contributing to that, but throughout my life, if I use K-cups, how many
K-cups do you plan on using?
I mean, like, let's say 1 or 2 a day for the rest of my life.
That's 3 deer and a moose you killed.
It's like, I mean, it probably fills this room up, but in the grand scheme of things,
we'd crush them down. No, we'd crush them down.
Yeah. You put it into a garbage cube.
It'd be about the size of a basketball, I feel like.
And then you bury it or whatever. It's like, how much am I contributing really to the global problem?
I bet you AI could figure that out.
Yeah. Ask AI, how much are my K-cups actually a problem for Earth? One individual human's K-cups.
Now, compared to like industry, nothing. You're not doing like compared to like General Electric or Tesla or so. You're not doing. You're not a drop in the bucket. But then there's 250 million of you in America, Tom. You multiply it by that.
See, that's what everybody keeps telling me. They're like, well, if everybody thought this way, if everybody just tried a little, then the world would be a better place. But then I'm like, well, are they trying?
We've been saying that for a really long time, and I'm not seeing it.
Hey, and do you see any Big Mac foam boxes by the side of the road? Like, remember in '84, they told us, if you don't stop throwing your trash out the window, you're going to be drowning in Big Mac boxes. They're gone.
It was the waste that killed Ross and I's favorite hamburger from McDonald's. The McDLT. It was the packaging waste that killed the hamburger.
I'm still on the lookout for a McDLT original case if I can find one.
There is a guy that has them. There's a guy that collects McDonald's stuff, and he has an original one, and he says he kept the burger. What? I know. These guys are crazy. Here, this is...
The hot side's still hot. The cold side's still cold. The McDLT's still doing its job.
It was so good. If you want to know about K-Cups, here we go. Let's see what they say here. Or not. Okay, never mind. It's not going to say anything.
Sorry Daniel did bring up those kids that I saw on Qualified Captain dumping their trash out of their boat into the
Boca Rich kids.
Yeah, it looked like some sort of river that leads to the ocean. It wasn't the intercoastal. It was probably off.
Yeah, it was like his house was back in the little inlet area, and then he took off out into the ocean to dump it and then to scoot back in, basically hiding what I can only imagine was the evidence of a house party.
And although it's odd that they're just pouring it out into the actual ocean instead of just put it in a garbage bag and throw it into a Walmart dumpster or any dumpster, the marina dumpster, like there's, put it into your neighbor's trash can.
I mean, maybe thinking, and this would be our fault, maybe thinking if they were inebriated, it's okay to drive a boat drunk, but it's not okay to drive a car drunk. I know that that is flawed and that's not the truth, but I do feel like people think that.
Or they were just thinking, this just goes on a garbage scow anyway, and they're going to take it out to sea to dump it. So I'll cut out the middleman.
Right. I wouldn't have done that. Have you ever hidden trash from your parents or like hidden stuff from your parents? Yeah, I've driven to a dumpster and disposed of things. Yeah, you're right. That's the first thing you do.
Well, when we were in high school, like I had a giant garage in my backyard that my dad put his. The center console boat in, his airboat, and his race car. It was like 2 stories high, but it was just like a warehouse garage, giant sliding door.
Tom's dad was Dale Earnhardt, Kenny Rogers. That is the coolest collection of things to have in a garage: race car, airboat, regular boat.
And but then all my friends would come over and party in the garage, and we put some couches in there. And
then you ever get to drive your dad's race car?
Pool table.
Or fire it up?
No, I was 10 years old when he died. So after he died, it got sold, and then so does the airboat and the center console boat and stuff like that.
It's cool to find your dad's race car.
It was a 69 Camaro.
That's so dope.
That he raced. He raced a quarter mile in Moroso. That's not like my mom has videos of her in the 80s, like a camcorder videoing him racing.
There were quarter mile. It's funny that I don't know if that must have been a thing. My dad raced VW Common Gias.
Oh, racing a quarter mile.
It was like a guys would
was
like
an 80s thing to do.
Yeah.
And look at us now. We can't handle 2 hot dogs from Costco.
Dad had trophies and everything. And it's one of those things that were like, what are the odds that 2 Florida dads would like drive and race cars?
Yeah.
It's like, that is a weird...
Dads used to get more trophies. My dad had beach volleyball trophies.
Yeah.
We were just talking beach volleyball yesterday. Are you kidding me? Your dad used to play beach volleyball?
Well, this was in Pittsburgh, so it was like literally just sand in a really crappy playground. But beach volleyball. That's why he doesn't have knees now.
I mean, you had to fill your time with doing something. Now we just scroll on our phones. Seriously. We're like, this is just as good.
And I think we've
driving a race car.
I think we've accepted more private drinking. Like it used to be like you had to get together with some guys and a keg to get drunk. You know, like now we'll just say,
you drink after you race your car. You're right. I'll just drink in my backyard. But anyway, so everybody would come over to my house and drink, and then we'd my friends would throw their quarts because I didn't want my mom to know. They throw their quart bottles in the neighbor. My neighbor's house was abandoned. He was part of like the Cuban militia.
Yeah.
And then he built like an underground thing, like a bunker, and then he used to have like his Cuban militia friends over and train, and they used to have ARs and stuff like full fatigues and
no air support, but
but on the ground we got you.
But really, it was just an excuse to get your buddies together and drink.
Let's clean our guns and drink some beers. Cold Modelo's.
But for some reason, like I remember the FBI came to our house and stuff
because of the Cuban militia.
Because they're next door. But anyway, after he left,
we have reason to believe that there's some teens throwing quart bottles over the fence.
The house was abandoned for years during my teenage years, and it all grown up. All the
Did you guys ever sneak in?
Oh yeah, we went in there. My buddy Baloney Andy doo-dooed on the kitchen floor.
Oh, come on, Andy. Andy, what are you doing?
Like the whole house, like with graffiti inside.
Take this, Cuban militia.
And then they were
Did he know they had ARs?
And then he's like,
did he know they had toilets?
Yeah, there wasn't a toilet there, but we were I was like, he's like, I have to doo-doo. We're like, doo-doo on the floor.
That'll get up.
He just pooped on the floor with no toilet paper. Oh my God. And then my dog escaped and then rolled in it.
Oh,
I remember my mom was like, "This, like Tiffy
whose doo-doo is this? Fernando's."
Anyway, so we threw all our quart bottles in the woods. His whole front yard grew into woods, and I remember we did that for so many years. Finally, when the house sold, there was
a Crystal Palace back there.
They came in, they cut all the shrubs back and the grass or whatever, and they must have found all this like big pile of quart bottles, and then they put a big no dumping sign. I remember we laughed at it because they're like, so this car
talking about Andy.
It was all our quarts. They literally hammered in a no dumping.
That's fantastic.
So one time, boy, I was a terrible kid. One time I have to feed the cat.
Yeah,
and the cat ate in the basement for whatever reason, and so I go, and if like it ate Friskies. I remember that. You remember Friskies? They had like little chunks of dry cat food.
Yes.
Cat ate Friskies. I would go and I get it fresh. We had a basement like sink, next to the washer dryer set up.
The big white ones.
I get it water. I get it fresh water in this little dish, and then if there was like 8 or 10 little crumbs of Friskies left, I would just dump it behind the sink instead of like running upstairs to the kitchen and putting it in the trash. And I don't know, a year later, my dad found the Friskies pile under and behind the sink, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
God, it was bad.
Yeah. And also, imagine all the bugs eating that. Like, you're just putting out bug food.
This is Pennsylvania in a basement, so it's more like mold and wet, and bugs were probably afraid to eat it because it looked like it was alive and about to take over the house.
I forget that we're so used to bugs and lizards here, and people from up north, they're like, what?
It scares them.
They're like, why do you have so many lizards? Like, have you heard about
step? There's like 50.
Have you heard about the new invasive lizard from Miami? My buddy Anders Land told me.
This is a racist joke, right?
No, it's an orange tail lizard.
No.
It looks like a mini iguana, and it's got an orange tail, and apparently they're
Are you supposed to kill him?
Yeah, I think the government said, feel free to kill them. They're invasive. They eat like we have Luca, like what kind of lizard was that?
A brown anole.
Oh no, they eat the anoles.
Like they're huge.
Yeah.
There's a place me and Bart go to lunch where they like kind of sun in the parking lot, and they're gigantic.
Oh, they're up here now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. That's a sign of the apocalypse.
Because I
right?
saw it one day and I snapped a picture, put it on Facebook, whatever. Look, what kind of lizard is this? I've never seen this in Orlando before, and it was invasive.
Was somebody like, down here?
Yeah.
Winter's
Yeah.
coming.
Literally, somebody's like, I've never seen one that far north, but that's invasive. Yeah.
Oh God, this is like bird flu when it makes the milk yellow and thick.
My friend said they were everywhere. Like my friend's son was saying that how they feed one at lunch. And
Don't
there's like
feed
a pet.
them. You gotta kill it.
There's a kid. They take it over. There's too many. There's no way to get them all at this
God.
point. It's like
e-bikes.
It was the pythons and the Everglades. Like it's too far gone. You can never eradicate them.
Are they? Did they look cool?
They look cool.
That's all I care about.
They're kinda gnarly looking.
If the new lizard that kills off the regular lizard looks cool,
Nobody
then
kills off the Florida lizard.
No, that's fine as long as it looks cool.
If the anole is like original Godzilla, they're kind of like Godzilla 2000 with the spikes and stuff. They're like, they're spikier.
They have spikes and they have an orange tail.
I'm cool with that.
But then there's the regular giant iguanas now and the circle tail, like I think they're like a Cuban lizard of some sort.
You're making that up.
No, there's a circle tail lizard in
That's
Miami.
the one
Yes, that's
that's
made
like the friend of Rapunzel in the movie.
But they're all
The little one with a ringy tail.
Yeah.
There's no lizard you can blow bubbles with his tail. I'm sorry. You're making this up.
And they are just everywhere. Like if you came from Missouri to Miami, and then you would be like, "There's parrots flying around everywhere in Miami."
Parrots where?
Like all over the place. Like there are like flocks of parrots that are all.
But are they the parrot from the movie Tuesday?
They are that kind of parrot. Like whatever.
Can you capture them and domesticate them, or are they wild now?
I don't know how that.
Well, shouldn't people be happy about that? Weren't these birds at some point? Everybody's like, "Oh, these are protected," and now we got them just everywhere. So it's like, all right, we're good now.
Yeah, in Miami, they're just flying around like crows, like sitting on telephone wires, and just it's ridiculous. Like
I gotta see this.
It would blow people's minds.
Speaking of which, I told you guys about they were chasing the peacocks out of the neighborhood near me.
Yeah.
They're in my neighborhood now.
No, I saw
that.
the picture on social media.
So
What are you gonna
excited.
do?
I don't know. They just they kind of come through in the morning and just like peck around a little bit, and then they take off to wherever they are. I hear them screaming in the distance every once in a while, so I know they're around. Yeah.
Can you feed them some grain or whatever?
I have a bunch of bird feeders out already. Like I got a little, I got a couple little setups for like just regular birds,
Yeah.
And one of them's like a little table that they like, then they land on. A lot of seed spills on the ground, so there is like a bunch of ground seed about, but I'm not putting anything out for the peacocks, especially as of yet.
What will they eat?
Anything.
Like will a peacock get in a knoll or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
They eat
in terms of like feeding them in a farmyard or something, they recommend cracked corn.
Okay.
But in like just a wild
I'll tell
peacock,
Jimmy.
they will eat pretty much anything smaller than they are. Yeah, they're monsters.
Will they eat like Funyuns, Cool Ranch Doritos?
You know what?
Snacks?
I'm gonna put out a table and see what snacks.
Yeah. Put out a table of snacks and see which snacks they choose.
Which the peacocks like.
If you wanted
You'll
to
crush on TikTok.
just catch one and make it live in your backyard, like let's say you had some sort of atrium, you could hold it in there. Are you allowed to do that?
No.
Well,
No?
I mean, Commissioner, whichever commissioner it was, she said they were an invasive species. You could throw them in a pillowcase, do whatever you want,
Yeah,
right?
you can kill
Wasn't
them.
that Patty
yeah.
Sheehan?
I think it was Sheehan, yeah.
So you're allowed now, but you're not allowed to have an invasive species as a pet. Because remember when the news junkie went through the whole piranha thing?
We don't talk about it.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
supposed to talk about
Like-
it.
Well, you can have some, right? Because, like, I mean, you can have a boa constrictor as a pet. You just can't set
I guess
it
you're
loose.
right. Yeah. So if you catch a peacock and then put it in your backyard, put some sort of like you had like some peacock pen,
Dude, you need
you'll
like
be
a
fine.
10-foot fence.
It'd have to
They're-
be huge, right? Because
yeah.
they jump.
They jump and flap, and they can fly. Have you ever seen a peacock's feet?
It's
Yeah,
gigantic.
it looks like Steven Tyler's feet. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta
Peacocks
go.
are also pedophiles.
Bye-bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
We've got a weird job. Let's go straight into it.
I got a new song. I'm not even
All
going to
right.
do. I got sick of the AI, but they've been pumping. I mean, here's the thing about AI is just when you get sick of it, it uses itself to make itself better.
Oh, yeah. That's what
So right when I was sick of it, I was like, "Oh, I hate you, AI." AI's like, "No, you haven't seen the new me. The new me is great."
Yeah.
So I made a bacon song, a funky '70s bacon song.
As soon as we become friends with it, it's like, not anymore. we're going to kill you. It's like we've decided that there's no need for humans.
Until it kills us, though, enjoy this 70s Earth, Wind, and Fire inspired bacon song.
Nice.
Here we go.
Well, let me tell you about my weird job. It's funky, just like corn on the cob. I'm the bacon maker, the sizzling sensation. Flipping the pork, bringing home the bacon. Oh yeah! Cooking up strips of delicious delight. Crispy and greasy, we're doing it right in the kitchen. Making magic on the stove. Hot and sizzling, funkier than you've ever known. When I step up in the kitchen, baby, you know I'm grooving to the rhythm, let me flow. With a spatula in my hand and an apron tight. I'm the king of the skillet, working day and night.
It's pretty good, right? I mean, like, it goes on for about 9 more minutes, so it's gotten way better. Well, now it's like doing these epic.
Keep it going. I love it.
It's pretty good, right?
That was awesome. I see a music video in my future.
Yeah, it's really good. Don't do that. All nerdy white guys are doing that, including our attorney. They're taking AI songs and they're dancing to them, and like white people love AI. They're dancing. AI is
Attention, all artists. Music is dead.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That took 12 seconds to do.
Every white guy that owns a furniture store is making a furniture song, and he's dancing in front of it. We're selling chairs and futons.
If you used to sell jingles to corporations,
you're done.
I mean, you are finished fast. It's happening tomorrow.
I want a little more.
It's
more.
already happened.
For the bacon cake, for him. I'm doing this for Eric. A little more for Eric. Here we go. It even gives you like a little instrumental if you want to like, Junior Mafia, Big Papa eating bacon every day. Oh yeah, I think it's just gonna ride us out.
Uncle Jesse from Full House.
They were jingle writers.
His job was jingle writer. That job was done.
Yeah. So it's the guy from 2.5 Men, right?
Was he?
Yeah, I think he's a jingle writer.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
I think most single guys that needed a beard to show people that they were not involved in pedophilia were jingle writers. Right? All of them, every single one of them.
So our guest for a weird job today is Eric Godfrey, aka the Bacon King.
The Bacon King. Give you a blast.
Well, thank you very much. I make sausage too, but I'm not going to call myself the Sausage King.
Should have grabbed it when you said that. Yeah. You didn't grab it when you said that.
Yeah. If you ever want a castle, unfortunately, that's taken over. You can have the sausage house.
Yeah, there you go.
So, Eric, how did you become the Bacon King?
Well, long story short, I had a very good friend of mine, next door neighbor, who loved to make pork belly burnt ends, which is made from the pork belly, which is what bacon makes from.
Sure.
Okay.
And you're kind of limited as to what you can do with based on the type of sauce. There's really only 3 or 4 different basic kinds of sauce to use for it. So I had a little slab of pork belly at home, and I started realizing, wonder if I can make this into bacon. So I did a little research, found a recipe, did it, and it turned out so good, I created a business from it.
All right.
Isn't that like what, it sounds very similar to most of the time when I have a friend that goes and has a treat they like, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to take the time to do it and make my own treat. And then I have endless amounts of friends that, just like you.
Yeah. Jesse Wolf did that.
Jesse Wolf, where he's like, I made this hummus, it's my treat. Yeah, and he's like, God damn, this hummus is amazingly good.
By the way, turn that into millions of dollars. Millions.
I just saw him this morning. I just saw him this morning when I was over.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that would be a wonderful thing to do, is just be able to make this into something really huge. But right now, we're just having fun with it.
Okay.
So
that was us on the podcast. Now we sucked all the fun out of it.
That's what I thought you were supposed to do.
You
take what you love
and you stop it flat. Stop all the money out of it.
Then you wring every cent out of it. And while you're wringing, that wringing is stress.
And Eric, right now we're on the nostalgia downhill. Like we're on the
we're at the bottom.
Started at the bottom. Now we're back here.
We're skiing across the water. Spring break. I've seen the videos. And then after that, the snow is gone.
Okay, so
no more skiing.
So you start doing this and you're like, well, I can make this bigger. I can
make this bigger. And I started making bacon for my friends. I thoroughly enjoyed making it, slicing it, taking it to work, giving it to my friends, getting their response the next day. Everyone seemed to love it. So I started creating different recipes. And my whole idea was to be able to have a business where if you like a specific spice, if you like a specific flavor, if you're from Louisiana and you like Cajun food, I can make Cajun bacon. or if you like any type of specific spice, I can do it. That's how the idea got started. And then about the time I was making the website, my wife goes, hey, I'm going out with some friends tonight. We're going to go drink wine and paint. You know, one of those paint deals where you go and you pay the money and you paint, and they pay the...
And you grabbed her arm very angrily. You ain't going nowhere!
Because you're going to help me come up... If you can drink wine and paint, why can't we drink beer and make bacon? And that's what came up with the idea for the Bacon King experience, where we actually have people come in, and I give them a 5-pound slab of pork belly, and I teach them how to make bacon. And they get to take it home with them.
All right, so let's talk about
better
this.
than painting some stupid ostrich. I got an ostrich hanging in my house.
You have one with bacon that you can't screw it up. You cannot screw it up.
I didn't hang it. I was like, this is not that good.
Yeah, we have a dumb, multicolored ostriches. Everybody paints.
You can't just go...
red, yellow, green, blue ostriches, and the one of the ostriches is holding a heart. It's a stupid... everybody has it.
If you go to a bachelorette party with your girlfriends and drink wine and paint an ostrich, I am not hanging that up in my house.
No.
Straight to the garage.
No, you were drunk.
To hang art, like that artist needs to be worked for years. You can't just
I'm not
go
hang
one
a stupid ostrich painting when AI could make an amazing painting.
So let's talk about like the actual recipe. So
sure.
Now, does the quality of the bacon? I'm sure it changes per the quality of the animal, right? So like, you know, so
if you're
you
making slam hog bacon, it's the lowest quality bacon.
So like you have a farm raised pig that's, you know, eaten clean its entire life and not lived in a factory.
You can check it. It's like this like every morning this pig drinks a J-Rob protein shake.
I know that meat will taste better, but there's more to that because then you're adding spice, and so what goes into it?
Correct. So the main portion of it is what we call the cure, which is a combination of salt and a curing salt, which is a sodium nitrite. That's
I thought you meant the 80s alternative rock band.
I blast that in the pig's ears.
Every time I see you going,
until it gets so stressed out it dies, and then the bacon tastes great. The
Actually,
Cure.
I think I was singing. I don't think I was singing The Cure.
I don't think it was either.
I was thinking
that guy did not age well either.
Robert Smith.
Yeah,
so how
Robert
you
Smith.
Cure the actual bacon makes a difference in the ending result.
Sure, and it also has to do with the amount of the cure that you're putting in, because you know the stuff you get at the store, it's just pumped full of chemicals.
Okay.
It literally goes from a pork belly into a bacon in as little as 30 minutes, and if that's the case, there's a lot of chemical processes going on. Well, what we do is we measure out the cure based on the weight of the pork belly, and then we go through a 10-day cure process. It's a much longer process. It's a slower process. And actually, we use the least amount of cure allowable by the FDA, and it gives us the cure without putting too much chemical into it. So if there is a healthier bacon, this is it.
All right.
Interesting.
Now, by the way, I'm a little bit different than other people. I love chemicals.
I was going to say, when you said pump full of chemicals, I was like, I am pump full of chemicals.
Yeah, give me all the chemicals you want in a better life. As you modern day technology is chemicals to me.
Yeah, AI is just digital chemicals.
Right.
No, I'm joking.
I love it.
So, like the longer curing process, the more healthy curing process makes a difference with the quality and the taste of the bacon.
I believe so. And you know, if I went through and I tried to find like the perfect time to let it cure, I've done 6 days, 7 days, I've done 14 days. I just think 10 days is just the perfect number.
Okay.
Gotcha,
and it worked out well.
And then so
it's like smoking meats, right? Like some people they put this amount of smoke on it, or they let it they might let it in its in whatever they're marinating in, like they leave it in for this amount. It's all different little.
Correct. I tell people in the classes, you know, I tell them to smoke it at 225, but if you like it smokier, smoke it at 200. If you like it less smoky, smoke it at 250. So it spends less time or more time in the smoke, depending on what you like.
Okay, so, and that led me to my next question, which is the cooking process. Mm-hmm. And so your bacon is smoked.
Correct.
Okay, and is that the preferred method in your opinion?
In the higher end bacon, yeah. If you're going to have a smoked meat product, the way to do it is the actual smoke it. Now, some of the lower end bacon you get at the store, they say it's smoked, but it's usually liquid smoke.
Yeah,
it's just sprayed on.
Okay.
And really, when you think about it, look at the bacon you get at the store. The only difference is the type of smoke it's smoked in. It's hickory, it's pecan, it's apple. But that's the only difference, because the rest of it is just salt, which our bacon's a lot different because we actually use spices in the curing process.
It is like bacon has been packaged the same way for so long.
Sure.
It makes me curious to why. Because like other
You got
foods,
another way to package it?
well, other foods, the packaging has changed over time,
Yeah.
and bacon has been the same since the 80s.
And it's hard.
It's earlier than that.
It's a difficult
You're right.
for me, and you're right. You bring up something near and dear
So it's
to me.
weird. I'm like, wait a minute.
I
Why
cook
isn't
a
this
ton
changed?
of bacon
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's Maisie's food, and I hate cooking it because of the packaging. I hate the packaging of bacon.
So why has it remained the same for so long? You would think, like, okay, things evolved. Like,
How do you want it? You want it in a roll?
No, I don't know.
A roll would be nice. Like a dispenser would be nice.
Other foods have changed.
The only real difference is now that sometimes they have prepackaged cooked bacon, so you just have to heat it up. And that's the only thing that has changed over the last 40 or 50 years.
That's like what you get at Subway. You know, when you get
Yeah,
the bacon
right.
on
Yeah.
that sad-ass
Right.
sandwich and they pull that pre-cooked bacon out. Oh,
So
God,
let's talk about how long. Like, once bacon is cooked, how long is it good? Because it seems
I have bacon
like,
in my pocket right now from 3 years ago.
like, it seems
It's
like
fine.
it'll last a long time, and nothing really is going to happen to it. I guess some of the fat may create, collect some bacteria, but you can eat that, right?
Get some lint on it.
Well, because it's cured, a lot of the moisture's been removed, which removes a lot of the bacteria and
Yeah.
things like that. That's why when I ship bacon all over the country, I'm able to ship it without it being refrigerated because it is cured.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how good does it last? Like, if you have this piece of bacon, can I leave it out for a week and
Let's
then
try
still
it.
good?
Let's try
After it's cooked, you can leave it out for a while. I wouldn't leave it out for that long. Before it's cooked, I would say 5 days. Is safe. From what I found out in my
We leave our
refrigerator.
bacon out for 5 days.
and in my refrigerator, I've had bacon that I've packaged and it's been in my refrigerator for 6 months, and I pulled it out, and it's still just as good as the day I brought it. Yeah,
It seems like it doesn't. It wouldn't go bad. Like a
magical.
cooked piece of bacon was fine for
like
a long
you fry
time.
bacon
Yeah.
in the morning, you come back later at dinner, there's still some bacon laying on the napkin, right?
Sure.
You're like, all right,
So
give it to me.
Technically, can bacon only be made from pork?
no.
Okay.
Matter of fact, one of the samples I have from you is bacon that comes from a cow.
Cow
Okay.
bacon.
Yeah, it's a cut called beef navel. It's the same cut they use to make pastrami. And we just do a full bacon cure on that. And so about 40% of the world's population will not eat pork bacon. Maybe they're allergic to it or maybe for religious reasons.
Sure.
So I want to make sure we got everybody covered. So we came up with a recipe for the beef bacon.
I've seen that like at barbecue competitions.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see like some guys will do like, it's like a special thing. They'll be like, this is beef bacon.
Something different, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think that's weird. Like, I will not eat a hooved animal. You think you're better than me?
Yeah, I'll eat everything. I eat it all. I eat all of it. Or if it's unclean, I'm like, yeah, they're animals. They're all unclean, right? Have you seen a chicken's BH? Horrible.
I'm like, it's weirder if they have other types of feet, like a hoof.
I mean, I prefer
less
if you
like our
cut
feet.
their feet off before I see them. I don't want to see their horribly deformed feet.
So you brought us some samples. to
I got
try.
you guys
All right,
samples.
so which is this first one?
All right, so the one that I have marked number 1, that is just our traditional
sound like
bacon.
a regular old lady at a farmer's
that is,
market. What is this first one?
That's our traditional bacon. That's going to be the closest thing to what you would get at the store. It's
Oh
got
my
some,
God! Wow! Holy S!
that's some good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and it only gets better.
It tastes like country ham to me.
A little bit, yeah. Absolutely, it does.
Oh my God, dude!
But it's got the cure, but it's also got some little paprika. It's got a little onion powder, garlic powder, some black pepper, red pepper flake.
So
I'm just gonna eat the whole thing.
I mean, dude, that is good.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about like the marketing of bacon, because I feel like it's gotten a bad rap in the past.
That goes back to the packaging. I see what you did there.
More like 20 years ago, like, the whole thing of like, oh, you eat bacon every morning, you're going to
That's not
die.
bacon, man. That's like, damn, I wish that was a BLT. That needs some snack.
Wait to do the
Because
next
that's
one.
that thick boy bacon. That's meaty.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the, I guess, the marketing of bacon and why it was considered bad for you, or like why everybody's like, oh, this guy eats a bunch of bacon every morning.
In it does. I mean,
Well, sodium is not bad for you unless you have high blood pressure. It's like that's a myth too. Like, you can eat as much sodium as you want if you don't have a blood pressure problem.
It's the sodium nitrite that is what's bad for you. When we use a pink curing salt, and the pink curing salt actually is about 96% just regular salt and about 4% sodium nitrite. So, I mean, sodium nitrite is so bad for you. If you have just straight sodium nitrite, about 4 grams, about half of an eighth of a teaspoon, or I guess it would be a 16th of a teaspoon, it could kill you just by itself.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the sodium nitrite is a very, very small amount that goes in, but that's part of the curing process that helps remove the bacteria and the botulism that is in all meats. So
I think I could take a teaspoon and be fine.
You want to do the challenge?
I'll get a
What does
stinger.
it do?
you have a resistance.
Yeah.
It makes your
I can be
eyes
like,
fizzy. It's like,
Yeah, I think I could work through it. I'll be like,
his tongue poofed up. Cut his tongue. Just release his.
But that's it's the nitrite that doctors say you have to avoid as much as possible, and because there's nitrite in bacon, because it's a cured meat product, that's where it gets the bad rap.
And
No pun intended.
Gotcha.
I imagine like the way like you pan fry it in its own grease, like that's obviously worse than if you're smoking it because right like
the smoking is part of the curing process.
Yeah,
Once it gets smoked, then you slice it and then you fry it.
Oh, okay. So and then but
they're
like,
going to fry it, which is going to render out some fat, and then it's going to cook in its own fat, which is what makes it crispy and yummy.
and just like anything in moderation, but even back to
like I said, this reminds me more of like a piece of ham. In fact, I bet this would like register like dietarily closer to like a nice marbled piece of good quality ham would rather than a cheaper piece of bacon that's really just tons of sodium and fake smoke flavor.
But also, I think bread, if you talk to a nutritionist, bread is worse than this for you. Our bread and sugar.
Well, the one you just ate is actually keto friendly.
Okay.
There's no sugar at all.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The next one is definitely not keto friendly.
Okay.
This has real maple syrup, real brown sugar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it's gonna have a nice little sweet flavor to it.
Oh, my God.
Why is bacon so good?
No.
It's the greatest thing.
I
know people don't like to hear
You won't find this bacon in any store anywhere in the state
and
of
you
Florida.
cook it exactly the same way.
Exactly. Today, because I did a lot of it, I just did in the oven, but yeah.
Oh, nice. I do mine in the oven. It's just quick. It's easy.
It is.
And the third one, you said this is
that is beef bacon. It's going to start off a little salty, then you're going to have a little pepper flavor, and then it's going to finish with a nice cinnamon taste.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think that you can make beef taste that way, and and for somebody who doesn't eat regular bacon, that's going to be the closest thing that we have to it.
That's really good. Now, besides from beef, can you make like anything any protein into bacon? Did you do a chicken?
I don't do
bacon?
fowl.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do it. But I mean, it's out there, and people eat it. But I've had it before, and it's just not for me.
Because bacon is technically the process in which it's cured and cooked, and that's what makes something a bacon.
It's that fatty area of the
animal.
Yeah, I just don't even like turkey bacon. You just don't. To me, there's not enough fat content to make it worthwhile.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part of making bacon? Have you ever had any you tried to make, couldn't get it to work? Or
I've tried different things. I did a margarita bacon. It's already got salt, so I added a little tequila and I added a little lime juice, and it just didn't turn out well at all.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to have some ideas.
I figured my wife would really like it, and she had that look on her face like, what did you just give me?
Yeah,
so,
this is terrible.
Where
it was
did
bad.
the term making bacon...
it's two pigs pumping.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hat I used to have when my granddad gave it to me. I told you never to bring it up.
I know,
Yeah,
but why was that an analogy for sex?
Pigs making other pigs. It's two pigs making bacon.
Making
God, you're dumb.
Okay,
this is the portion of the show where I explain like 50-year-old hacky truck stop jokes to one of my very good friends. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have two pigs that are banging and then making another pig. You're making more bacon.
Join us next week when I tell you the origin of the elephino, which is a half rhino, half elephant.
So, what is the standard cost of your bacon compared to?
I think I can answer this one. I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that first piece tastes expensive. Like that first piece tastes like you sourced the meat correctly. 10 days. I mean, you're out time. You're out 10 days.
Well, what I do is I sell it in 5-pound chunks. So it comes to you unsliced because I don't know how thin or thick you like to slice your bacon. So I give you that opportunity to do it yourself. It comes out to about $12 to $15 a pound.
Okay.
In a good high-end bacon at the grocery store, it's going to be $12, $15
Yeah,
a pound.
You're comparable to, I hate to say it, but to like a Right Brand.
I am for now. That's part of the whole business plan.
Yeah.
Let's get them hooked, and then once they're hooked, then let's start raising prices.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think people nowadays, too, are more and more cognizant of what they're putting in their body, the type of food they're eating. And
also
then
supporting somebody who's doing, like, you
local,
can see the person.
Yeah.
Meet the person.
Yeah.
And then also, you bring up a good point. point, you start comparatively, you're like, well, it's only, a few dollars more than this Winn-Dixie bacon that I've been buying for years. And like you said, coming from a factory, it's factory produced, a bunch of chemicals.
Well, most of it comes from Smithfield. Most of that comes from the same people, right?
Well, yeah. All the bacon comes. There's only a couple of bacon manufacturers.
It's all one. Yeah. It's all one. It's like
matter of fact, my raw
China, right?
My raw product comes from Smith.
China.
Yeah. It's all like this is the story that people will tell you about. They put the pigs in the boats, they take them out in the water, turn around, come back. They're like, oh yeah, international waters. It's American pigs. Like, no, they're all Chinese pigs. They're slaughtering them crazy.
Yeah.
If I were them, I wouldn't even do the boat thing. I would just tell
put a sailor hat on them.
I'll be like, we'll just lie.
Yeah. Just paint a red, white, and blue flag on their butt. That's an American pig.
Like no one's checking in on this. So, where can people find your bacon?
Well, I sell my bacon actually at a restaurant in St. Cloud called Jimmy Bear's. It's a barbecue restaurant in St. Cloud, Jimmy Bear's.
That's a good spot.
It is. And so we sell it there. I also sell it at some markets, in downtown St. Cloud monthly markets. I sell it on our website, baconkingusa.com. But I also will teach you how to make it. So I have a Bacon King experience. I do it once a month. The next one is May 18th in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
You want to learn how to do the process and learn how to make your own bacon. The number one email I get from people who have taken the class is, I'm never buying store-bought bacon again. And that's my whole goal, is for you to learn how to do it and go out and make your own bacon. And then you can experiment with your own spices and figure out the exact bacon that you like.
Awesome.
Anybody made a spicy? I'm surprised there's no spicy bacon.
Oh yeah, and I have ingredients there. I got some Cajun spices and some extra peppers,
like
and things
some hot bacon, right?
Chili powder.
I've never had. I've had sweet bacon. I've had all these maple bacon. I've never had one that man, that's not spicy.
Yeah, like
bacon.
a jalapeno bacon.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
all of that's a possibility.
Well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break. I'm going to eat all this bacon.
I'm going to eat all of it very quickly, and then I'm going to lay on the couch until our next guest comes by.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
We're super excited to have the entire cast.
Yeah, this is huge, man.
Golden Gals Live. They're going to be performing at the Claremont Performing Arts Center this weekend for Mother's Day weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get your tickets at goldengalslive.com.
Also, like a little tour, right? Aren't you guys like, there's more shows planned, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We've been on tour for the last month or so. We're home for this week, and then we go right back out again.
And you just heard Ginger Minge on the show again. We also have Gidget Galore, Divine Grace, and Mr. Miss Adrian on the couch with us. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. Packed in tight.
The Mr. Miss Adrian name is the best name I've ever heard. That's
okay.
Such a damn good name. God, that's a good name.
But you cannot believe how many people mispronounce it. It's always Mr. and Mrs.
It's just, they just completely make up their own names.
Yeah,
12 years later, I'm just used to it.
Well, I'm sure. He's like me. I've been called everything, and especially with my height, they'll just call me the little guy. Just the little guy. That's acceptable.
Ginger, let's talk about Golden Gals Live. So tell us about the premise. When did you come up with it, and a little about the show.
So it actually all started on a drunken Taco Tuesday, like most good ideas. Okay. Gidget and I have been best friends. This is 21 years for us right now. We started drag together.
Congrats.
And have been working together ever since then. Divine, ever since she moved from New York City to Orlando.
I am completing a court-appointed community service obligation.
All right.
And then Mr. and Miss Adrian right down here on the end is much like the real Golden Girls, the youngest of our cast playing the oldest. She plays Sophia. And, every friend group, everybody goes, oh, I'm the Blanche, I'm the Dorothy, I'm the Rose. And, of course, we did that for years. And then one night, while we're eating tacos and drinking way too much wine from the Lake Ridge Winery that had been provided for free, we said, you know what? We got 2 weeks. Let's just do it. Let's just put it up.
Yeah.
We didn't think anybody was going to come to see it. We did it at the Parliament House.
Yeah.
We're like, this is for us. It sold out in less than 24 hours. Nice. We ended up extending, and then it just kept extending for over a year. at the Parliament House. We branched into doing some other classic sitcoms. We did Roseanne, we did Gilligan's Island, a couple other things, the Munsters.
Okay.
But this is the one that we keep coming back to because we love these women, and it's never our goal to make fun of them. We always celebrate them.
Yeah.
But in a really, really funny way. So, of course, it's grown. We've gone on tour. We've done all these things. Last year, we got to headline the Golden Girls Convention, where it had all of the producers and the writers and the directors from the original series.
Too. Like that scared the S out of me, man. Like, I don't know. Like it's such a huge show, and when we found out that we could get you guys in here, I freaked out because I was telling Tom that there's certain music from that show. Like here, I even loaded. I think I loaded one up because I can sing
iconic.
This. Yeah, just from.
You know what? We're just gonna give you a microphone.
As a young boy, I would fly in from the bath. And I was like, the frickin' Golden Girls were on, and they made so many jokes that were inappropriate, so many things that pushed the limit for the time. Yeah. Stanley was the absolute best and worst character of any sitcom. What a hunk of crap that guy was! It was just a good. It's just
but that's good character development though, because he can be the most awful person in the world and then just flip it on a dime and be so sweet and so sincere, and you can see why Dorothy fell in love with him 40 years ago.
And he'd almost get her back all the time, and I'd be like, "This guy's gonna do it. He's gonna get her again."
And then he gets it his own way. And that runs rampant in our show. So we got to meet with the head show writer. We had a little sit down with him, and he said, "I've seen so many drag versions of this on stage, and none of them get it right." He said, "But you guys, you really seem to understand that the formula is taking these 4 older women, putting them together, and then making them tell a bunch of dirty jokes." And they were. He said it's basically a frat house full of old ladies.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that formula has really worked for us. And this new script is the funniest one we've done so far, and nobody has seen it yet, which is really exciting.
There you go.
So,
but you can see it if you get your tickets.
Let's talk about Golden Girls for a second, because I feel like if I describe this to my sons, this show was hugely popular, and it was about 4 old ladies that lived together in a house in Miami, and there were 3 of them were widows, one of them was divorced, and they all lived together. Which, by the way, as I was doing research, I was like, this is an idea that it's weird that society doesn't do this now, because there's lots of old ladies that are widows or divorced or whatever. They should live together as roommates in a house.
No, live alone sad. Live alone sad.
Seriously.
With nobody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your kids, nobody visits you. Just live alone.
I don't know anybody who
with
does
the lights
this.
off.
And the Golden Girls are so popular, you would think that would spawn a lot of older ladies to think about doing this, and no one's done it.
My mom lived in a 4,000 square foot house alone with no dog.
It did spawn shows for older ladies, like Sex in the City.
You're right, yeah.
Shots fired.
They were younger than you think they were. I just remember when it was on, I was a child, and they thought it was a show about these old women, and Blanche was in her late 40s in the first season.
She's older than Blanche. I know, you're right, because we all think, same thing with Cheers and stuff, they go...
Ted Danson was 75 years old the first season.
On social media, you see, going back and they put the age of, actors from old sitcoms, and you always think they're older than they are when you're a kid. But even, so Golden Girls, I started looking at it too, their season finale had 27.5 million viewers, which, by the way, if there was any show that had that many now, it'd be the biggest show in the entire world. Because it's so, there wasn't less to watch back then. But that music is iconic. It triggered me to have an emotion when I hear that, because as a kid,
you guys in the outfits, seeing the
there's so much nostalgia
that you guys have.
There's so much brand nostalgia attached to it that everybody has memory of this, which is unique. And I feel like future generations, 50 years from now, no one's gonna have memories of shows now because everybody's watching different things.
Too much. There's too
yeah.
much, and there's 8 episodes of it, and then maybe it comes back and maybe it doesn't.
Right.
Maybe there's 5 years between. It was appointment television. Like everybody that I knew when I was younger, we all met at my grandmother's house because, of course, we all lived on the same block in Leesburg. But we all met at Granny's house every Saturday night, and we would sit down as a family and watch this. And honestly, these 4 women are the only people that could unite my family. Since it's been off the air, none of us have spoken.
I was telling Tom this, that the Golden Girls show, when I went through it originally watching it with my family, also did the thing that sitcoms used to do, not so much anymore, but they would handle big topics of things that I didn't want to talk about with my family. And it was one of the first shows that did teach me as a little bumpkin boy in DeLand, Florida, about LGBTQ plus it was handling AIDS. It was handling things when other shows were not handling. But the cool thing about it was my dad and I, he's just a Southern guy. He had things that he thought, but it wasn't like he accepted what we learned and we moved on from. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't
because it
like,
never beat you over the head
no,
with it.
It was
made
well
you laugh.
done. Yes,
It didn't hurt that the 3 of the actresses were coming off of, not recently, but were coming off of Norman Lear projects like Maude and All in the Family and whatnot. And
super smart.
They were able to sort of transition some of that. The audience knew when they saw B. Arthur, they knew that when it was a B. Arthur type, they knew they were going to get some of that political sass.
Sure.
Do you think it also helped?
And the voice. You can do the voice so good. My God.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much.
It gives me goosebumps, man. Like, that's so good.
One of the most fun things for us as a cast is of course, they applaud every time any one of us enters. They love us. And the 3 of us are great. But every time Divine enters as Dorothy, first you get the visual. So you hear the audience go, oh, then she'll open her mouth to talk, and you can hear them all going, "Oh, she just sounds like her."
Yeah, you almost have to give like a break for that, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have to build it in.
Yeah,
Right.
because I was watching a video of you guys for the Mercury Theater residency that you were, or the shows you were doing there.
Yeah,
and I saw you slip into the voice, and that's when I hit him up, and I go, "Oh my God, dude, this is like just like you don't think about that being that important, but it's so important. Like it takes you into the show and the sets you guys do and the costumes. So tell me about that. How do you pick all the iconic gags and things that they did? How do you decide what outfit, what look, what vase, what lamp, what couch?
Gidget doubles as our costume designer for the show.
So we're constantly on the search for vintage sweaters and giant floral for Blanche and
I'm plus size, so really giant floral for Blanche.
lots of turtlenecks for
Tom, may I suggest Tom's house is filled with seashell. Remember when it would be a shell? And then it would be like a glass shell, but then you fill the glass shell full of real shells and then put a lamp in it.
Oh yeah, that's what every redneck does to their bathroom in Florida is make it beach themed.
When most of us could just kick out the braces and drive our house to the beach if we wanted to.
Absolutely.
And then we have a great set designer, Bob Silton, out of Chicago. And every time that we step onto the set, we're home. We feel like we're stepping right back into our home.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
The set at the Mercury in Chicago, we watched him build it in how many days did he? I mean, painted the floors and everything.
We put the whole show together in Chicago for the residency in 5 days.
Yeah.
And that included like the last new script that we did, all the costumes, all this stuff. So as we're working in the rehearsal space, we don't really know what's going on in the theater. So we'd come in every couple of hours and all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're there a little bit more. We came in that last day and he had painted the floor and done everything. And it really looked like we had stepped onto the set of the Golden Girls.
So cool.
Mm-hmm. And he somehow managed to translate that into a portable set that we now take with us here, there, and everywhere. And every single review is like, yeah, the costumes are great and the folks are great, but when you walk into the theater, the first thing you see is that set, and it feels like you're there.
Even if we have the ability to put a house curtain down, we never do. We always set the lights so when you walk in, you are walking.
You're there. Because when you're here, you're family.
I think it's important, though, for people to see that like through this interview, hopefully, how much time and effort you guys put into all the little things to make people's, experience when they go and see this that much, greater,
Well, I think anybody who was with us at the beginning when we were doing this at the Parliament House, where we had a futon that was the couch and the bed with a slip cover, we had 3 wall pieces and a card table and thrift store clothes, and we somehow turned it into something that was really fabulous. And now you come and see what we're doing 6 years later, and you can tell that every single penny that we get from ticket sales goes directly back into the production. We're not making millions off of this. We're not even breaking even most days. We're investing in making this bigger and better for everybody, particularly for the Orlando community.
That's cool. I love it.
During your, I'm sure you guys went back and researched some Golden Girls before you did this, obviously. Is there any episode, did they ever jump the shark and do anything weird throughout the seasons that we don't? Okay, what are some of the things? Because nothing sticks out.
Now, was the spinoff of Golden Girls Empty Nest?
Yes. Well, that was one of the spinoffs. The direct spinoff was Golden Palace. Yeah. And that's because Rue McClanahan, Betty White, and Estelle Getty wanted to continue playing these characters, but B. Arthur was like, no, I'm out. I'm done. 7 seasons was enough. So she left, and they sold the house, and they moved into a hotel, which the facade of the hotel is actually the one that was the facade of the Birdcage in the movie The Birdcage.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's just so iconic. Every time we drive down to Miami, it's there and we see it. And it feels like we're kind of coming home, But it didn't work because there's something so magical about the 4 of them together. The only time Golden Palace really worked was when B. Arthur came for 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did they, during the actual Golden Girls series, did they ever touch on a bizarro topic that you're like, what the hell? Why?
I was trying to remember.
Did they ever have some weird guest on the show?
I like the ones where they were trying to figure out, I like the ones where you thought there was an element of danger. I like the ones where
Rose being chased through the parking garage.
I like those.
Okay,
or the person where the guy that they're dating happens to be they're trying to snoop and figure out if he's a murderer or something.
He's got a knife in his suitcase.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or the fact that Rose managed to kill 2 men, giving them heart attacks while they were having sexy time together.
Right. Oh, yeah.
To me, one of the strangest, most fever dream episodes ever is the one where Sonny Bono just randomly pops up, and there's also Dorothy dates this guy from Beatlemania. and there are a few of those moments, but the thing about the Golden Girls is they could get away with doing all of that really crazy stuff because everything else was so grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why all of us are still tuning in to watch it all these years later.
I have a lot of friends.
One of the crazy parts about this show is it's one of the only shows that doesn't have a show Bible where this is the age of their sons. This is how many husbands they've had. This is what they're married.
It was done back in the day when people you watch the episode once and then you move on and you forget about it. You couldn't just rewind it, or you couldn't go watch it whenever you wanted to.
You're not deep diving on the creating backstories with it. Now
children.
Well, so it's Blanche. We actually poke fun at this in our show, our new show. Blanche has either 4 or 5 sons. Their names change all the time. She had a daughter named Rebecca who was played by 2 different actresses. One was plus size and one was super tall and thin and supermodel. and they just gloss over it oh, hey, yeah, good to see you again for the first time.
I like how back then
this is a better idea. Just go with that.
Exactly.
They're this is all throwaway. No one's ever going to go back and cross-reference Blanche's other daughter. And then it turned into iconic, almost like a piece of history where people are studying it, and we're like, hey, this is a weird thing. And then at the time, they were just oh, yeah, next episode. Who cares? No one's going to look that deep into it.
As somebody who has studied the episodes, I urge either of you, both of you, to go in and try to make sense of the layout of the house. Makes no sense. Sophia's bedroom is clearly in the garage.
Sometimes Blanche lives on the lanai. Sometimes she lives in the kitchen. None of it makes sense. There's actually a really cool YouTube series out there where they take all of these old classic sitcoms. Like Full House is my favorite one that they've done, and they show you why these floor plans do not work, and they break it down room by room. Like, it's really interesting to watch, and we've watched all of those as a cast just to kind of figure out what kind of comedy we can wring out of that.
Sure, yeah,
It's like the Winchester house. It doesn't link. There's a staircase going nowhere. Right?
yeah. There's a door with, it's all boarded up.
You brought up something, Ginger, about you watching Golden Girls with your entire family, and it is kind of a shame because I think about this a lot.
I don't have a show like that with my daughter and my wife.
Well,
we had a couple. We had Matlock.
Yeah.
We had Golden Girls.
Mama's Family.
Oh,
so I always tell
Vicki Lawrence
people,
rules.
I always tell people, like, when I play Blanche, I'm really channeling my mother because that was my mom down to the haircut and the gold bamboo earrings.
So cool, man.
But as a family, our family was a lot more like Mama's Family.
Yeah.
But it, like
we had a lot of screaming.
I'm thinking about my stepdad
Hollering.
Florida construction worker would never choose Golden Girls as a show to watch if he had an unlimited choice on the internet, right? And so, of course, no one's. But then because there was only so many choices and Golden Girls came on, he was forced to watch it and forced to be exposed to something different.
And he probably enjoyed it.
You know what I'm saying?
And he liked it.
So was our entire society because there was only so many choices. So there was a lot of people that normally would never pick a show about four old ladies that live in Miami, but there were four, and then it was better for them. It's better to be exposed to stuff you don't necessarily pick. And now we live in a society you only pick what you're interested in, and that's a sad state of affairs where you're never exposed to anything new.
It's kind of an interesting point of what I was saying with my dad. Like, I don't know if we would have ever sat down as a family and watched a show that was tackling this particular issue that it was. But because they did it and they did it well, we were forced to grow as a family. It was like a good thing. Like, I don't have that right now with my daughter because she's stuck in the iPad. She's missing in there somewhere. I don't know where she's at.
Or just being exposed and hearing the perspective of four old ladies. You would never, a lot of people would never be like, I'm going to choose to listen to four old ladies and comedy and never be exposed to it. And
but what was
I know.
What's so interesting about those four old ladies is that I think it also showed people that they could be dirty
and
they
funny.
could be funny, and they could be progressive.
Yes,
they weren't stuck in time. They were changing with them constantly.
Yeah.
And
they
I
would
think
show
that's
you that
still
side.
so interesting.
Yeah, they would show you the side of the person not changing, and they'd be like, well, that's very judgmental.
Yeah.
You can't be like that. You need to be better. You need to grow.
But we don't talk about Barbara Thorndike.
What was the one episode, because I was researching it, and I remembered this one. It was her friend came. She had just been widowed, but she was really gay.
Gene.
That was originally
Gene.
That was originally played by Doug Balzer, and it was absolutely
bless Doug, man. I love me some Doug. Really?
So Doug was an original member of our company. Doug would play Stan, and then literally everybody else. And it's been really difficult to fill those shoes because Doug was just so one of a kind.
One of the funniest human beings on the face of the planet.
Ever.
Like I still say that the Japanese woman doll that flew across the stage at Parliament House is still to this day the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I thought I was going to vomit cry. I couldn't stop laughing.
And that's how it was to work with him all the time.
He was nuts.
Because
I loved it.
We never knew what was going to happen or what was going to come out of his mouth or what he was going to look like when he turned the corner.
And he came out playing the lesbian interest, Jean, looking like baby Jane Hudson. Because he played Clayton in we did 3 episodes back to back.
We used to do actual episodes, and now we've transitioned into writing original scripts.
That's cool.
Well, I got kind of bored, honestly, because I'm the writer and director of everything we do. So I got kind of bored just kind of transcribing things, and I went, okay, let me try something new. I'm going to go to YouTube, and I am going to watch like the 10 most iconic moments from Golden Girls, and then I took my favorite 5 of those, put them together, and then wrote an original story around it. Okay. And it works. So now that's what we do. We give people like the Rocky Horror moments that they want.
I love that.
Because everybody wants to go lesbian. lesbian.
Yeah, because you want to participate with the show and the iconic stuff.
We also want to keep it fresh too.
Yeah.
So we always call it the lost episodes, and it's just so funny to watch Doug Bouncer come out in the shortest shorts. It's not what we gave him.
No, of course not.
It is not the costume Gidget designed for him.
Cut them off.
He cut them off until they were Daisy Dukes, and then hiked them up. No underwear. I'm just kidding. This is Parliament House. It was a very different place.
Hard.
And then decided he was going to forgo the robe and just wear a sports bra.
That's fun.
That was Doug.
And it would destroy.
It would destroy. But if any of the rest of us tried to do it, they'd look at us like, what is happening? What's going on?
Well, again, and this is the perfect, Mother's Day weekend to watch the show. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One show a day, correct?
One show a day.
Yep.
Snag your tickets.
And you can get your tickets at goldengalslive.com. Guys, thanks so much for coming.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, we'd love to do it again. Let us know when you got more to promote. Yeah. And, you might see us there.
I've always got things to promote.
I'm going to talk to my wife. You may have found what I'm doing because it's up to her to pick.
Great gift idea.
Yeah.
It is a fabulous gift idea, and we've actually gotten a lot of messages from people saying, I'm flying my mother in from Kentucky so we can go together.
Nice.
My mom and I are driving from Pennsylvania to come and see you guys. So
that's awesome.
It's become a little bit of a tradition.
We'll get them tickets, y'all. Thank you guys for the time.
Thank you. We love you.
And we will be right back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. I almost said our Lorimo is here.
Lormo.
Our Lord.
How does it feel to be called Lormo?
I think he was just trying to say Lord Mo. He was going to.
Lord Mo.
I want to say our lawyer Mo is here, but
Does he know? You say this a lot, but does he know he's our lawyer?
He does not.
You know what I found? He
does not know that.
I was deleting some files off this computer, and I found the original. He's a lawyer man. Remember all those? I had all those different drops.
Oh, yeah, before we got to Mo.
Yeah, before we
quality.
Yeah, before we settled on that, literally is like the branding. It's the branding on that. Like people hear this anywhere, and they're like, "Oh yeah, injured on the go."
Yeah, we should give that to the Solar Bears. They can play it every time there's a goal.
Oh, like the Magic when they make a free throw goes.
Yeah.
You get do they have a sound?
I don't think so.
They need a sound. You should get on that. I'll give them that. I'll give them that.
When
I'll make it from the ground up, scratch.
I imagine that
great! Now the chat room's calling my Lawmo. Look what you've done.
Once a year, you have a big lawyer meeting with a bunch of other heavy hitters, and you guys sit.
Those are called conferences, and that's where you go to cheat on your wife. Everybody knows that. It's what insurance people do. They've been doing it for decades.
And then you're sitting in some oak room with the big fancy chairs,
making inappropriate jokes.
Whiskey.
Whiskey, and the big chairs with the bubble leather, like the hard bubble
old
leather.
School,
they're like leather. It's a leather, like a real man chair. What is it? A little too hard for your little baby skin?
Everything's ornate and gold.
Yeah.
And
it looks like Saddam Hussein's library in there.
There's animal heads. And then you talk about marketing. And I wonder.
That's what you and Buzz were doing out there. And then me and Mo came in here to make like normal human talk while you guys were out there. Oh, yeah, this is good. The third quarter should be better than the first.
Because
projections.
Yeah.
I feel like
How many impressions do you get on those billboards? I don't know.
Because you have the most.
What's the ROI?
You have the most fun marketing, it seems. Like a lot of.
Try.
You think what he does is fun? Do you think dressing up like Justin Timberlake is fun, mother effer? I would grab you by the throat. If I was Mo and you said, oh, yeah, you do fun, I go, you think this is fun? You ever think this is fun?
I'm a clown. I amuse you.
Do you know who I am? And then I'd make you stare into my face, and then I'd turn the sound effect up as loud as it would be, and I would do a spit loogie right. and I'd do a spit loogie right over you, and I'd keep sucking it in. It'd be almost hit your nose, and then I'd let you go.
I like when you take your shoe off and when you something about hitting someone with your own shoe.
Yeah. You're hitting someone with.
It's like you could kick them, but no.
I'm going to take this off and hit you with something. I walk through pee-pee.
So, Mo, me and Daniel saw something that we wanted to talk to you about.
We saw aliens.
And
You too?
Not that you are well versed in all the changes in the law.
Man, you're really hitting all the insults today, aren't you? Why would you say not that you are? Why wouldn't you say I'm sure
you're just some sort of clown that dresses up on YouTube.
Do you know how to have any business meeting? When you're talking to somebody in a business meeting and you want...
I'm giving them out.
No, you never give them out. You say, of course you know this. That's the way you do it.
Well, what if he doesn't know?
Let him tell you
that. Well,
that.
then it makes him look bad if he doesn't know. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm not well versed on everything.
If he doesn't know it, then you go, well, you know so much, you probably forgot that. It's hard to hold all the facts in.
I think he's just angry because we put him as Drunky the Bear.
This
is his payback.
Well, you did it. I thought it was Bustecker.
It was never Bustecker. It was always
I did like how Bustecker took the fall, though.
Yeah, he did. That's a good man.
Yeah.
That's a good
company man right
I don't
there.
have any friends that'll take that.
No,
This guy.
If someone says, you hear what Daniel did? I'm like, I'm distancing myself.
he did that earlier today. We had somewhere to go. We're going over to the Orlando Science Center to see their brand new life exhibit, which is phenomenal, by the way.
Oh, it's good.
And he just opens the door to walk to my car and just leaves the door open. Like, the king is leaving. Shut the door. Open the chariot.
Paul Williams said, what's his name? What he said? Lupe Fiasco did that to him?
He said not to say the artist's name. That was off the air. Don't even give me all the... Okay, please.
Anyway, so Mo, I saw that a law changed about non-competes.
Yeah, it's not in effect yet, but I think it's technically a rule from the FTC. So it's an administrative rule. It's a whole different area of law called administrative law. And so basically, I think it goes into effect in 120 days after they pass that new rule. But it's going to be challenged quite a bit.
What kind of law is this?
Administrative law. So
girl law.
Yes. I did not say that.
It's a joke.
Now you're ruining it.
It's a joke.
I'm supposed to ruin it. Switch roles.
I'm tagging along.
So it'll be challenged quite a bit. We'll see if it gets upheld or not.
So basically...
Yeah, but for right now, everybody, including most radio people, and even us, we're all like, we'll do anything we want. Sky's the limit.
I immediately called every other radio station.
Yeah.
I'm like, put us on non-compete is
out
the window.
I called Ross Padgett, and I said, you tell that Jim Colby, you tell him all of them. Take one of those with you.
So now, what does it mean if it is upheld that companies will no longer be able to make their employees sign non-compete agreements, and they are allowed now to immediately, if they stop working as a salesperson they could work in the same town the day after?
I mean, for the most part, there are some carve-out exceptions if the company is sold and for different level executives and things like that. So it's not quite that cut and dry. And I'm sure companies are going to start changing the contracts now to where they're going to have more confidentiality provisions and provisions protecting their intellectual property and go that aspect of it rather than the non-compete. I know some of the FTC stuff tries to address some of the intellectual property, but they're just going to change the language until they can try to find something that gets upheld, essentially.
Yeah, I would like to think that I'm personally responsible for the addition of the word podcast into everybody's contract. You could You could thank old Little D for that.
It is. I remember in radio, this is prevalent, especially radio personalities.
You did radio?
They make you sign non-competes. They're like 6-month non-competes in the market that you're in. So essentially, even if you get fired, although if they fire you, they usually don't hold it.
I don't think I've ever seen one being up. No, I have seen one. Only one. Ed Till, the first one. My very
first
old school
that
radio. Was as old school
as
it gets. It was still the 90, and it was when he was going to take Larry Elder's job in Los Angeles, and then it ended up becoming like a big thing, and then they did hold him to that particular contract.
You've seen it with salespeople and other industries have it, but it is ridiculous if you think about it like that.
Not if you're the company. I don't want you going over there and taking all your clients with you to this other company and dropping my bottom line.
Well, then pay to keep me.
No, you weren't good. You weren't good enough.
Or then, if I'm not good enough, then who cares if I go to the other company?
Well, but you have all the clients.
I built those clients.
I mean, it
relationship.
could create a corporate raider type situation where people just get hired
hired at places, get their book of business, get the information, and then leave right away and try to solicit all that business.
Yeah, also,
That's what I want to do.
Also, what you're saying, just from what I know, from
I
big
want all
clients,
the money
Until somebody does it to you.
But no, that I would disagree with what you're saying and being serious. Like, I have known plenty of salespeople that were decent salespeople, but when they came in, they were given clients. They didn't work that client. That was a gift to you to keep you
keep you happy.
Yeah, to sort of keep you running, and then any new business you brought in, sure, I'll give you that.
I'm joking around a little bit. I know why they're in place and stuff, and they probably did get a little out of control where it became unfair and to a lot of people, and it hindered a lot of people's ability to make money. And in our country, we need everybody to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, I mean,
so that they pay as many taxes as possible, so our country is better, right?
I had a listener email me the other day. I think he posted in the BDM group, actually. Who had they were trying to enforce a non-compete that was 2 years where he couldn't work in that field anywhere in the country. And so
anywhere in the country?
Anywhere in the country. And so there are some laws already in place that say the non-compete has to be reasonable. I think there's an argument there that...
Is that to address remote work?
I didn't look into the details of what
I've never
what it
heard
was,
of that.
but
Have you? Anywhere in the
it's certainly
country is
overly
like
broad. Usually it's your geographic region. Like in radio, it's your geographic region. But
well, so you bring this. This is something that's reality that happened with us that we may or may not have talked to Mo 15 years ago about.
Top secret meeting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
the skyscraper.
That
downtown.
was good pizza too.
So with radio non-competes,
thank you again
and
for that.
I don't think there's been any case law since we've asked this question 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, I guess, when we left radio. But we had non-competes, but then we were leaving to do podcasts, and then we were like, wait a minute, well, where are you actually doing this? Where is it being broadcast from? It's being broadcast technically on the internet from a server in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I put the server in Atlanta. Yeah.
So is that because
Mo knew that.
The stuff is so Mo
knew he was out of Atlanta.
He's the smart one.
Yeah, I think he was the one that stood up and screamed bingo bango.
Well, I wanted to do it.
And then he slammed the pizza down.
I wanted to do our podcast 30 miles offshore on my boat every day, every morning. And we're like, international waters, MFer.
And I'm Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, but every day we'd go out less and less, and then one day we're like, let's do it for the car. They'll never know.
Then they got you.
They do.
Then where you do an actual show, is it where you're sitting while you do it? Like where the actual server is, where the actual
where the signal originates from.
Yeah, like it's being it's a satellite in space. What the hell?
Right.
It becomes super complicated with.
And the law always has to catch up with the technology because usually the technology is way ahead of where the law is. So in that kind of situation, obviously the contracts have now changed quite a bit, I'm sure, to better define that geographic region and where it is essentially.
I checked; it hasn't changed.
No?
I looked at ours; it's the same thing we signed.
I guess iHeart's struggling; they can't really afford lawyers these days.
Ours was the same.
I'm like, it's the same thing.
To their credit, I would have just photocopied the same thing too. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm not going to write a new one. That's crazy. Talk about a waste of time.
That World War II tower just puts the signal out.
I got one.
I mean, as you guys know, a lot of times the purpose of those is really to intimidate the other side, right? Because you have this giant corporation going after some little employee who doesn't have the money to fight them. So there's quite a bit of intimidation factor saying, we're going to sue you into smithereens if you don't comply, and most people just kind of comply.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Which is a thing, by the way, that giant corporations will just infinitely sue you and then hold up all your time and then just push it back until so many years have gone by that you just give up.
I've always wanted to scream that I'll sue someone to smithereens. But the only way I'd want to scream it is if I really intended. You know what I mean? To back it up.
Yeah. But no one ever backs it up.
I've never even thought about where the person I would sue. That's not a real, I've never had that.
Yeah.
It's not a thing in my brain.
No, it's what poor people yell.
It is. It is the number one thing yelled by poor people. And crazy homeless people. I sue you! I'm like, okay, well, first you got to find your second shoe.
So, Mo, we actually have a legitimate question.
Yeah, I got a good one. That's a first. This is a good, I know it's a first time ever. Dear Mo, after selling my home as is 2 years ago and providing the buyers with a $45,000 credit to address foundation, plumbing, and electrical issues they found during their inspections, I now find myself facing legal action. They're claiming that these issues have significantly worsened and are demanding an additional $200,000 for repairs. Despite the fact that I've already invested over $100K in foundation repairs before the sale, I agreed to the credit to ensure a smooth transaction. Now they allege major problems and seem to disagree the as-is clause in our contract. I'm in a tough financial spot and need to understand my legal protections and options. My realtor's brokerage has distanced themselves, advising me to seek legal action or someone that can tell me what to do. Mo, could you advise me on possible defenses I might have and what outcomes I can expect? I am truly scared. Thank you for your guidance, Jerry.
Tell him to go pound sand.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, so from what he says, and obviously there's two sides to every story, but from what he says there, it was disclosed. So the only time you can really get in trouble with a sale of a house like that is non-disclosure. So if you know of some problem, if you knew there was water damage, a water leak, mold, if you knew of it and they could prove you knew of it and you didn't disclose it, that's where you get in trouble. Clear here.
I love non-disclosure. it's my favorite type of disclosure.
Pretty much the basis of your life.
It is the best disclosure.
Like, hey, what's that hole? I don't know.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Nothing can be done. No one knows. That was there when we got this place. It's been there.
What are you talking about?
But here, clearly, they knew of the foundation problems. They had the property inspected.
Yeah,
they
it sounds like everybody was on board. Yeah.
Everybody knew of it, unless it's something completely different that he knew about. And
it just sounds like this short of the long to explain it to like layman. It sounds like they came in and then they were like, "Hey, this is messed up," and he said, "I'll give you almost $50K for that," and they were like, "That's cool." And then they bought the house. 2 years later, things got worse. And now they're kind of sour grapesing it, right? And going back and saying like, well, we knew that it was the problem, and we knew you gave us $45K, but that's not enough money. This was a bigger problem.
Yeah, buyers beware. Everybody knows that.
It would be no different than
your second favorite. It's a
buyers beware.
Non-disclosure. Buyers beware.
Yeah, he tells people that
the rules of Tom Van.
Once you leave the Facebook Marketplace transaction, then whatever's wrong with the Corvette you bought,
I always thought it was my dad told me is once the taillights are out of my vision, it's no longer legally binding. That's what I was told.
Once I unscrew the license plate in the Walmart parking lot, it's yours. It doesn't matter what's wrong with it. Daniel asked me a question the other day. I had no idea, but a
lot of questions I asked him.
Perfect question for Mo. So
I don't even know what you're going to say. You're going to be something terrible.
It's the Tesla camping question.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently there's like this...
well, Maisie's been wanting to go Tesla camping.
Okay.
In our car, you charge it up to, basically what you do is you charge the thing up to 100%, and because it does have a camping mode that runs the air conditioner and the entertainment at night, you go to like a campground or something, you park it, or you could go literally to somebody's driveway,
right?
You park it, and then you buy, and it's really cool, but it's a mattress that's cut.
I got an ad on Facebook like yesterday for this thing.
Yeah,
I don't have a Tesla, but
it's made. It fits perfectly in the back, and it stays deflated. And you hit like a little thing, and it just pumps it up, and it's perfectly contoured. So it's like this big giant bed, and then we can watch the movies. And so May's like, "Oh yeah, we'll bring Dansby, we'll load it up, we'll go somewhere to the beach, and then we'll Tesla camp." But then I started thinking about it. I was like, "Yeah, I can see me. We pull up to Beverly Beach. I'm right there in Ormond. I pull up at the little campground. I get there. I'm in my car. I load all our stuff in there. We go out to eat. We eat a little seafood dinner. We come back. I get out my beers, and I'm laying in my car drinking beers." And that's when I went, "Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I don't know about this because I could see a scenario where I am in my vehicle that can be literally turned. It's on. Right now it's on.
Yeah, it's running.
Yeah, I mean, I could put it in reverse and start driving it around anywhere, but I am S-face.
Oh, yeah,
annihilated. And then I start, and a lot of people do this Tesla camping thing, and I was like, ooh, that might be a problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not quite the same as like an RV. You can make the argument there, but that's why, I think they'd always tell you, if you're going to sleep in your car, put the keys on the tire or something so they're not within reach or something like that.
Oh, yeah. My Uncle Randy used to tell me, throw them into the woods, which I always like, yeah. He's like, hey, if you ever get too drunk to drive, just pull over and take a nap, but throw your keys into the woods.
Yeah.
That way they can't get you for DUI.
My dad had another one was a little bit different.
Put them in the grass? I want to throw them in the woods. I'll need them the next...
like a scavenger hunt.
I think I remember one of my relatives saying you should swallow the key. This was before there were fobs.
Well, so what happens, like Daniel's cell phone is technically the key.
It is my key.
So if you have your cell phone in your pocket, is that considered the same as a key?
I mean, again, the technology hasn't, or the law hasn't really caught up with the technology yet. So, the whole theory behind, putting the keys outside was that, you're not in control of, or you don't have the ability to easily operate the vehicle, right? So you're within the reach of the steering wheel.
On me. How am I going to masturbate in my Tesla?
I shouldn't laugh at this. That's a crime.
You really shouldn't.
Yeah. We'll cut that laugh out.
Yeah, I'll cut the laugh out. I'll use AI. I'll use AI.
Yeah, so it's a case where, like, it says keys in the law or whatever, but like now your cell phone is technically your key.
It did make me second guess it because, like, I don't want to go there and sit in the back of my car watching kid movies without a nice cold beer because it's going to be miserable.
But I can see Mo arguing this in court where you're like, well, technically, yes, his cell phone is the key, but the Tesla app wasn't brought up. So therefore, now it's not technically the key in his current state unless the app is brought or something like that.
Yeah, and you're also basically in the trunk of the vehicle, so you're not really within reach to operate the vehicle either. So, you're almost entering into more of the pop-up RV or RV type territory where you really can't operate the vehicle from the trunk. It's not like you're sleeping in the front seat of the car with the keys nearby you. So there's a number of defenses there. It doesn't mean that you get the wrong cop, they're not going to try to arrest you, and then you're going to have to fight it out in court. And then you may end up making case law because I don't think there's really case law on point on these issues at this point in time.
Mo, how prevalent are dash cams now, and are they being used in a lot of cases?
They are. I mean, dash cams are definitely way more prevalent, especially with the Teslas. I mean, I've had some accidents involving Teslas, and the video is pretty cool just to watch.
Daniel's when someone hit his car. This lady hit his car, and Daniel's able to see her license plate and who did it. Like
I called the cops, and then I went right to her front door, and I rang the doorbell, and she hid from me. And she never, it's this true story, she never intended on coming back and letting me know that she hit my car. She never intended to do that.
Yeah.
And I told her, she's like, I'm a good person, I promise. And I'm like, yeah, because good people like to hit cars and then hide in their houses.
Technology is going to eliminate any car theft because now it's all videotaped. I mean, it can be shut down.
But the criminals have the technology, too.
I don't know. It's like the technology to...
What about the Kia boys, dude? You been reading about the Kia boys?
What is that? Come on.
This is serious. These are serious stories. You need to start reading the news a little bit more. The Kia, I think it's the Sorento, is like the easiest to steal car. All you need is what you were saying, like a USB lightning charger. You literally plug it into the thing, plug in your phone, hit a button, it starts up, you start driving it around. So there are these Kia boys are going around. There's a documentary that Andrew, remember the guy that got popped? Channel 5, he got popped for like indiscretion and...
I love indiscretion.
The way your hands were moving, I thought you were going to say diddling.
Yeah, not diddling, but Andrew Callahan. Remember Andrew Callahan? He does like independent journalism stuff. Okay. Well, he did a documentary on the Kia boys, and the Kia boys are stealing like these crazy cars, man. Yeah, it's like technology is making it easier in certain instances.
But then there's, like, I imagine everybody's going to adopt the cameras on every angle of the car. And, like, there's so much evidence now that because Mo knows, like, everything's about evidence, like collecting evidence. And
it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah, and cars collecting, like, if they videotape someone stealing a car, like, more car thieves are going to go to jail.
There's just a lot more cameras out there. I mean, you can barely walk anywhere and not be on camera. And, I mean, we've had cases before. We had a case where a semi-truck hit a car and said, I didn't hit him. And just completely denied it, but the guy behind him had a dash cam. We had it all on video, and then he's like, "Oh, well, maybe I hit him."
But you got to do what's it worth to you if you're the guy behind him with the camera. You can't just do good citizen anymore and be like, "I offer this to you to save your." No, you got to be like, "Yeah, I got to peel me off like $500."
I miss the days where the only cameras we had in society were ATM cameras, and it was like
grainy footage.
I liked it when it was like a picture. And then a picture of you at a different...
Yeah. They used to have a suspect, like, here's the murderer, and it's like 2 football fields away and pixelated black and white. Yeah. You're like, well, that doesn't help anything. You might as well have shown me nothing.
You know what's funny? Technology doesn't matter because they still found them.
Yeah, I know.
It's like having a better pair of glasses.
So remember, Injured on the Go, just call Mo. JustCallMo.com is the website.
The Mo is louder today.
Mo, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate you putting up with us, man. Thank you.
All right.
And Bustecker, you gotta...
Yeah.
Come on, man. You gotta tighten up around me. You're embarrassing Mo. You're yelling about things that are inappropriate in the lobby. I offered you rap snacks, for Christ's sake.
Oh, we forgot to mention the Mo Bowlerama coming up. I know there's still tickets available. And there's some pinball passes left.
A few pinball passes, and I think there's a few bowling tickets left if you want to come out. All for charity, all for a really good cause, and Drunky the Bear will be there.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a good time.
Drunky.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm wasting everybody's time. Oh, we can beat that one out.
I'll beat that.
It's an inside joke. You got to listen to Twitch.
Yep. That's why you watch the broadcast, Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah. The website, so people can...
Just call Mo /bowling.
Yeah,
All right,
it's super easy.
Yeah, go to Mo's social media.
Yeah, and
you'll find it.
If you want to go and have a really good time, if you've been a fan of Mo, if you've been a fan of ours and want to come out and hang out, we would love to see you. It's justcallmo.com/bowling.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
We've got the hurricane party coming up around the corner.
We do.
It's on May 18th, of course, in Sanford. Drinkatwestend.com. And to talk about the hurricane party, we've got Dom and Paul in. How's it going, guys?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, we got the Sanford 2 here. We have on the line with us right now, special guest, because I feel like normally Dom plays, I think, Rockstar.
Yeah.
But I feel like Dom was he deferring to a bigger rock star?
I don't know.
I don't want to start a fight. I don't want to start a fight or anything.
Start a fight.
But on the line with us right now, and we did an event, and then after one of our events, this band played at the West End, and they're going to be at the hurricane party. It's from the band Authority Zero. It's Jason DeVore. How you doing, man?
I'm really good, guys. How you doing, man?
Good.
Hey, just
good. I'm looking
to be
forward
clear,
to-
I'm way bigger of the rock star. Jason's way skinnier than I am.
Dude, Dan trying to start some punk East Coast West Coast drama right
I was
now.
trying to start a little.
He's not even in the West Coast. He's in the desert.
what I
the
want-
desert versus the.
Okay, hold on.
Arizona versus.
Okay, Tupac, tell us what you think.
I wanted a little bit of. I wanted Drake. I wanted the whole Drake Kendrick Lamar thing that's been happening.
That's a big. There. I don't know what I've been seeing things, but I don't know what actually happened.
Basically, they went back and forth a bunch of times, and the way it's standing right now is Kendrick Lamar says Drake's a pedophile, and everybody's like, might be. That's what I think happened. That's what I think. That's
I think
where
they
we're
should
at.
break
Call him a pedophile?
Oh, yeah. And then to the point where now the rumor is that the music groups have called a special Zoom meeting of everybody involved and said, yo, you better tell everybody he's not a pedophile because it's hurting the bottom line. It's called the Subway. That's called the Subway.
Yeah.
All right, this
They
question.
should breakdance fight for sure. Breakdance fight.
All right, well, I got to ask Jason and Dom a question, and maybe Paul can weigh in because Paul's had many encounter with a lot of different punk rock bands.
Oh, yeah.
All right, who's the biggest D-head in all the scene? As far as the worst reputation
Of the punk scene?
In punk rock, as far as like hard to work with, is just like the whole band's a D-head.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be
You're going right for the rat people out and throw them under the bus thing, right?
Well, I'm sure there's some band that doesn't tour anymore that because
I kind of felt like for a
Which
minute.
band is a dick to you so much to where you want to call them out so they're an even worse dick to you?
Yeah. Like I'll do it. One of the bands when I was in a band, one of the bands that was so mean to my band, and there were a bunch of old guys, and they're even older now, was Molly Hatchet. I hate everyone for Molly Hatchet. I was just an opener, and then they wouldn't even let us backstage to get any drinks. We couldn't get any food. Those guys are a-holes.
I've got a better question that's easier to answer. Okay, because just like I'm a fan of NoFX, and Fat Mike has always been perceived in my mind, never met him, as a D-head, right? Now, but I don't know if that's just the perception of how he comes off, or like from the stores,
or if he wants people to believe that because it's better for the tail,
and maybe because it's always more punk rock to kind of be a D-head, it is, and then but maybe he's nice as hell to everybody he works with, and they're like, oh, he's a nice guy, but
seem like that though.
So that's exactly you're describing Dom.
Yeah, well, Dom's super nice to me, but
I know, but like
the perception is
well, that's his staged persona.
Yeah, because it's better for punk.
Don't listen to these guys. You guys, don't jerk.
Yeah. So what say you, Jason?
Yeah. Is there who comes off like a D and you
can't say Dom. He's already off the table.
Yeah, I'm off the table.
I honestly have one guy. He's not in a punk rock scene, but he's in a band that I toured with probably like 12 years ago. But they're still a band, so I'm not going to say whose it is.
I bet I know. I bet I know who it is. It's Jelly Roll.
I've had that experience, and it was a pretty crappy one. You can't believe the audacity of people in that situation when you're all kind of under the same roof.
Hey, Jay,
It was
what
jelly
about
roll. It was jelly roll, and he asked to use my preparation wipes. And I
Jay,
told him,
what about
no. I said,
Fatty?
those are mine. Those are mine.
What about Fat Mike, though? I know you've hung out with him at least more than I have.
I've known Fatty. Yeah, I've known Fatty throughout the years, man. We've done a lot of cool stuff together. I mean, we did the Rock Against Bush compilation way back in the day, and I just always had good conversations with him. There have been moments on tour where, you know, he seems to be a different person for sure. There's no doubt about that. And I was like, wait a second, didn't we just talk about the thing and things were cool a second ago?
Right.
So it was been situational things, you know, but all around he's a cool dude, man. All straight up, he's cool. I mean, given like his longevity too, and like all the stuff he's had to deal with or been a part of, I guess,
feel like
throughout the years.
All my run-ins with him, too, he's
done
been
a pretty
always
good job.
super nice. But I feel like whenever I've seen him, I'm just like,
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that, right? Because of also,
Right.
again, going back to the word Jason used, the longevity of being able to do that for as long as he has is extremely impressive.
Well, also, do you think it's too when someone is more business minded or like
That's what they have a tour manager for. They're always the turds.
But sometimes like just being more business. It comes off like a D-head sometimes because if everybody's hanging out and the friends and all of a sudden you switch to business, people are like, oh, what's this guy's problem?
now that is more like what my problem
Hands
is.
down, the biggest D-bag I've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the story of what happened, and then I'm gonna tell you who it was.
Oh, okay.
All right. So they land at the airport. I send my guy down to pick them up in my expedition. They roll up in my expedition, park at West End. They all get out of the car, walk off, left the doors open. And made
that's what my daughter
made my
does.
guy walk around and shut all the doors.
My daughter does that. My daughter will get out of the car.
Your daughter's a child, and so do my
She'll
kids.
get
do
out
that.
of the car and leave the door.
These were
just
grown
wide
men.
open.
These are grown men.
Yeah.
It was Bubba Sparks.
Oh, Bubba Sparks.
I mean,
Man, no, not Bubba.
it was like I was sitting there with my mouth wide open, like.
That is kind of I do appreciate that move though.
Now it does
We
seem
just
more
walk
rapper.
around.
It does seem more rapper to do that, right?
It does.
It
Maybe
does
they
seem-
thought they had somebody coming out behind them.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to do that if it were an Uber. If somebody else is getting in, you just leave it open to fill it back up.
I'm gonna start doing that in my truck every day.
And then the nicest dude I've ever hung out with was Lazy Bone.
Oh, wow.
We stayed up drinking 40s till like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then he looked at me and he goes, "Hey man, I like you. You want to trade hats?"
Hold on, you drank 40s with Lazy Bone all night, and then you wanted to trade hats.
I want to trade hats with somebody. I want to trade hats with somebody.
like a jersey at the end of a football game. You're like, this has been a good conversation. Let's trade hats.
His hat said fresh.
Did you trade with him?
Yeah, it's a fresh ass hat, man. What kind of hat did you give him? A Westie hat?
Yeah, it was a West End hat.
Right on. I wonder if it's still...
He actually bartended for a little while. He was making Sunshine State bombs. I got pictures of it. It's hilarious.
You should have wait, like he was living in Sanford and bartending in the West End, or just for the night?
The night of his show, after the show, he was like just having fun. He got back behind the bar and he was making drinks.
Oh my God, he's
was
like
hilarious.
raps Bill Murray. He's just
he was a totally cool dude.
having a good time.
Jason, I got a question for you. Because
Hey, what's up, man?
you've
Yeah,
been
did you forget he was here?
No. Well, I just thought of this, and Dom can answer this too. But from
Well, which is it? You just said Jason, and he was happy to have the question.
Jason.
And he goes, "Hey, I'm still here." Then you're like, "Well, hold on, I don't want to make Dom mad. I'll give it to Dom too."
Dom's being a little quiet today. I got really, really high before I came here. Imagine
always
that.
do. You always
You didn't have to
I
tell
just
us.
woke up. I'm like 3 hours behind you, dude. So I just woke up and rolled out of bed myself. So I'm kind of on the low myself. But so hit me, dude.
So, Jason, from touring for so many years, is there anything that you refuse to do nowadays compared to what you used to do, let's say, 15 years ago?
Well, if you're
whatever.
Cat Williams, it's dressed like a woman, right?
Well, just like certain standards, you're like, no,
I'm not
if
doing that.
if they don't have this and this, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. Or
Clearly Canadian and hot Cheetos.
Oh no, not at all, man. I mean, honestly, and I'm not being like the I don't care guy, but I don't care as far as like it's all the same. I mean, we're still in the van ourselves, you know. This 30 years later this year, so it's like it's all fun. You get used to it all, and it's just part of the program. And honestly, it's like if you get your rider, some days you do. If you don't, some days you don't. If you get buyouts, you choke out the people that didn't give you the buyouts and try and get the money. It's just it's just kind of the standard, you know. And I'm sure Dom can attest to this too. It's
whatever, dude. You better.
When you're not,
Me and you are way different, Road Dog. I don't even. I'm like, wait a minute. If I don't get my M&Ms, I'm out of here.
I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but Dom was the D-head I was talking about.
I was like, listen, if you guys don't provide the donkey I asked for, then nope. Sorry, bro.
Legit on their rider, there's a. It says that they want a donkey.
Oh, a donkey.
I remember the first time I got his rider, I was like,
I will tell you
man.
this. Shout out to Kevin Little. One time he actually provided the donkey. All right.
Really?
Shout out to Dr. Kevin Little.
Hold on, there's a donkey
There's
on
only
your rider.
one show that Dom has had his dream of having sex with a donkey.
It says
only
on
one
our
show,
rider.
all the other one.
On a rider, and I quote, it says, a donkey with a background in show business.
A show business.
What's the reason? Is it the old like?
okay, the
just to
reason
see if
is
they saw it?
these guys. What these guys do is they want to see how soft you are if you're going to go ahead and go the extra mile for it.
Exactly.
So they know how to take advantage
Hold on,
of you.
but no one can really provide.
Okay,
a
so
donkey.
here's the thing, right?
You
Supervillains,
can.
like supervillains, are since our inception, everything about us has not ever been serious. Like we
Yes.
just go out there and we literally are the embodiment of what I thought punk rock was, and that's just to be silly and stupid the whole time.
Well,
Yeah,
wasn't the point of the silly rider thing to make sure that the promoter was paying attention?
Yes.
We literally, since the time that we were, we had a writer because we were starting to get more professional in all this. We put dumb S on there, bro. We put weed on there.
Yeah. So you just like take the rider as the venue guy. You take the rider and say, well, I can do these things.
Sure.
But like, I'm not going to get you a donkey, man. Do you really need a
I will,
donkey?
and I will tell you this: that
Yeah,
every
I think
time
it's a
that
joke.
I've ever been involved in that part of the transaction of like, oh well, here's the drinks, this and that, but we couldn't get you the donkey.
Yeah, they do the same
Right.
joke
They
every
laugh at you, and then you laugh. It would be, at
Exactly.
some point, it'd be embarrassing. And you're like, don't worry about the donkey part. We put that in there when we were young.
Yeah.
You know, Jason, is it true that you were having a hard time printing flyers? I read that on your social media.
having a hard time printing flyers.
Yeah, like you
I
were asking people to put flyers out. Like I just thought it was funny. He was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get some of these flyers made so I can put them up places," and I'm like, "That still works, doesn't it? Like the flyers are still a thing."
Yeah, I do grassroots. Oh yeah, I do grassroots all day. I think there's something to be said about that. Still, I mean, it's the classic move back when we were, coming up and everything. And people, the internet, again, it's like it's sure people see it, but that stuff is so fast that nobody cares. And it's like they swipe right past it, and unless there's like a reminder on it, it's out of their memory bank. And if it's not that day, so it's like I like to stick up flyers still. Like
I agree.
When I play venues around town,
I think flyers are back because he's right. Like we are being trained in
psychology.
It's like vinyl, man. It's like it's just going back to the classics, and people want that stuff nowadays to be tangible. I think, and it really helps. It does help seal the deal, like in their heads with when the date's going on, when the show's going on, and with the flyers. Yeah, that I had some friends. So the place I'm playing next weekend is probably it's only like 20 miles from me.
Yeah.
But I know I got buddies over there that come to my shows. I'm like, hey, anybody want to do this for me?
I thought that was really cool, by the way. Like when I saw that, I was like, this is really cool because like I've noticed even around town and here that like bands are going backwards and doing more flyers, and they're putting more time and effort into their flyers in trying to make them look. They're trying to make them look beautiful.
Yeah.
So you'll collect them or hang them up again. Like we're the pendulum swinging backwards now because so much of the digital flyers, the 20-second videos, that's just scroll trash now. It's just scroll trash.
Yeah.
We do the exact same thing at the venue. We make sure we print them on good paper, and at the end of shows, 95% of the time, people are asking for posters
they want
at
them.
the end of the night.
People want them now. It's funny because
Yeah.
it's cheap art for your house. It's a way for you to tribal and tribe out and connect with your.
I have a sick Authority Zero poster at my house, bro.
Oh, I bet. You know this guy.
I don't even got a second 40 poster at my house.
What has it been, Jason? Probably like 15, probably plus 15 years, probably.
It's been like 15, 20 years, dude.
It's been a long
road for
time.
you and I.
Yeah, for sure.
You and I have known each other quite a minute.
Yes, absolutely.
So what was the year?
Yeah, dude, leading back to the Flyers one more time to touch on that before we move forward. It was like out in Europe, like I think it was 2 years ago. I just realized like they're huge on like sticking the flyers, the posters all over the freaking city. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen them or not, but it's like just blasted. The entire city is like littered in flyers and posters, and it just. That's kind of what made it click for me. I was like, dude, what happened
Jason,
to this?
I saw
This is
something.
brilliant.
I saw something really cool. I was in Colorado last weekend, and in Denver, and they had these flyers that were like on the ground, like they were pasted to the sidewalk. Like you really had to scrape them up. I hadn't seen those before, but they were like really good advertising tool. And I sent it to Dom, and it was just like awesome. I don't know if you've seen those out west, but I haven't seen those around here at all.
You tried to pry it up?
Yeah.
I tried to pry it up. It's really tough.
That's what I'm telling you. Like same idea out there in Europe. Yeah, it was it's almost like old school graffiti tagger style.
It does look like someone painted it on the ground, but it's just a something very, very tacky flyer.
Yeah, I think and then they have the paint too, and I know they did this for. What was the band? It was a country band that came into town. I want to say it was like Jason Aldean or something. Ugh. And he came into town, but it was like some sort of like stencil, and then they spray paint it, and it stays for like a certain amount of time, and then I guess it washes away. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just spray paint. I don't know. But
I don't know.
Okay, I have a random question for you guys, and this may be stupid, just because the nature of punk rock.
Yeah.
But you brought up working with Fat Mike, the Bush, like anti-Bush era of punk rock, and obviously punk rock's always skewed liberal. You could say.
Well, typically we get our best punk rock when we have a conservative government. There used to be an equation to it. You can look it up and see, but
it doesn't make any much sense. But
when Trump's in office, when Bush is in office, your punk guys are going to go a little nuttier and have a little bit more to balk at.
But now,
maybe now it's everybody.
But now,
traditionally it was that way.
But in 2024,
it's almost good for business.
Yeah, I think now it's you just bitch about everything because everything's so messed up.
Think about it. There's got to be tons of punk rock guys, even from the 90s. Like I grew up 90s punk rock, right? Yeah. And like even then, like
I can
now,
tell by your smoker's card.
Now I'm 42. There's got to be tons of 90s punk rock guys or in their 50s that are probably conservative, still like punk rock, right?
Yeah.
But just because of their age, they're conservative. Is there any conservative punk rock bands? That you could think of that are like that are politically
you got
conservative.
Those blue collar guys for sure.
I've never heard of it.
They're not like I don't think they're like blue collar guys, but I don't think they promote like hate or anything like that.
No. I'm just saying,
your typical.
They're more like working man, and I'm not giving you my fair share.
Right.
Exactly. I work for mine, you work for yours. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. It sounds very hardcore.
But they're not like racist or like.
No.
Hate gay people or trans people.
They're mad at the system nowadays for the right reasons because of the fact that they have actual 9-to-5 jobs and they're actually within that bracket of people that are working hard and, like I say, the blue collar people that have more reason to complain and actually have more of a foundation to their argument, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, because you
may have
traditionally
on, all of them.
Well, traditionally it was always anti-authority, anti-government, which was traditionally like a conservative thing. It's like small government, get the government out of my business.
Yeah.
Like my pop was always hated the government, and didn't want the government. They wanted the government to leave him alone.
Yeah, but he liked rules and genders.
But it's like
I hate the government, but I like rules and genders. I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo.
But there better not be a man in that woman's bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they get mad about stuff like that.
That's the tax breaks.
So, how many bands this year at?
Dude, I got the list here.
So
I got 23 on my list.
Yeah, we're at 23. I was going to say 25 and make it sound cooler, but thanks, Daniel.
My bad. There's 25. 2 of them fell off my list. I spelled Mountain Dew on it. I can't read it.
Actually, for the DJs we have, it is 25 acts.
Boom.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, but tons. Let me see if I can.
25 acts. We got, we have Fortunate Youth coming.
Yep.
We've got the Slackers.
Yep.
We've got, of course, Authority Zero.
Pie Tasters.
The Pie Tasters.
Black Joe Lewis and the Honey Bears.
Oh, yeah, we got the Super Villains for 2 sets.
Mephistopheles.
Mephistopheles. Yes.
That's hard to say.
The Satanic Ska Band.
I haven't seen
that video.
I haven't seen those guys in forever. I mean, like you brought back all my ska favorites.
That's
like
this year for sure.
Like,
super ska heavy.
Definitely a lot of the bands that I used to have to go to like places like Jacksonville to see at the Milk Bar,
right?
And like little tiny hole in the wall ska.
We had Jason do acoustic. I believe that was last year, right, Jason?
I think 2
years
ago.
That was last year. That was fun, man.
Yeah. So this year we of course had to have Authority Zero come to the full band.
Nice.
And then Pie Tasters, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get them, but I got them, and I was stoked to have them. And Slackers finally are making their way to Sanford.
Love Slackers.
So
Dom is killing it, man.
Thanks, bro.
Jason, I got a question for you. I was asking Daniel about this the other day because I've been running a lot. I've been listening to a lot of Lagwagon while I run because I'm stuck in my high school era and I listen to bands I listen to high school.
Punk is a very good choice, I feel.
Yeah. And then my buddy told me that he's like, "Oh, did you hear? Like the guys from Lagwagon aren't doing so well financially or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, sad to hear that." And then, but I don't know. Obviously, I don't know anybody else's business, but. Is that
we're in punk bands?
Is it what happened?
It's because we're in punk bands. What do you want?
Yeah. Okay. Well, but to me, I guess it's just subjective because
you think of Lagwagon as being like one of the, they're going to be way high up there on the punk rock royalty, list, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're.
Do they grind as much as they used to, Jason? Do you know they do a lot of touring still?
They do touring a lot too. I mean, I know RKL just did some shows too, so I know they're also kind of getting back to the roots of that, with them getting that group back together. But I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them cross paths them a few times out on the road. I don't know if it's super heavy or not, but they're definitely out there still doing it.
That is legit a great excuse every day of our lives, though. It's like, man, why is money so tight? Because we're playing punk rock music. We're not a cover band playing top 40. I mean, what do you want? It's like,
it's legit.
We can either play the music we like and be broke, or we could be in a cover band and hate our lives.
But you don't think about that. Like, you don't think about the guitar player had a lot of health issues or had back issues or, and then you get medical bills and then because you're no different than anybody else.
Well, this used to happen in radio, where people heard you on the radio and just assumed you were rich because I was like, no, radio doesn't pay.
People assume that they'll hear we're broadcasting, so obviously we're loaded.
We're Howard Stern rich. Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely.
I'm not kind of rich.
Yeah, the minute you're not on radio is the time the band broke up and they never heard of you ever again.
Sure.
And they're like, you guys still play? And you're like, I've been grinding 3 times as hard.
Right. Yeah.
But so Jason, but with a band like Authority Zero, you guys have been playing for decades. You amassed
celebrating 30 years.
I think everybody who's been in the punk rock scene at all or liked punk rock, have heard of Authority Zero.
Definitely.
Is there other ways to make money that they're not thinking besides touring that is legitimate? Is there a good merch? The average, for you guys,
Zero Gear. You didn't go to the website. It's called Zero Gear.
Do you guys make a decent amount of merch regularly? How does that work? I was fascinated with the business side. Or is it primarily all touring?
Yeah, merch. I mean, if you're not touring, you're not making really any money. I mean, the music, unfortunately, is taking a side table to it, and a lot of times you want to put a new record out because for one, you have songs you want to record and put out, but for two, it gives you more purpose to go out and promote your album, to get on tour, to try and get some heads in the seats and get people to pick up some T-shirts and get pick up the tangible items again, because that is really that's how bands make a living these days. If we're not touring, we're all doing our side job stuff, or I'm doing solo gigs around town.
Dude, you crush those solo gigs too. You're busy with those things constantly. I love watching that you're out there just constantly grinding, and you don't.
But most of my buddies that are that I see that are, or other guys that are like Jason that are in a successful punk band, if I'm just being honest, most of the ones I follow do side gigs.
Absolutely,
they have to.
Yeah,
it's
a constant hustle, dude. It's a constant grind, or whatever you want to say.
I think that's why I have so much respect for my punk musician friends, is because you see it. You're like, oh my god, this is hard.
It's called diversifying. You have to diversify because sometimes one of your aspects of whatever you're doing might be a little slow. For example, for Jason too, man. I don't do anywhere near what he does or never have really. He is consistently on the road, consistently busy, gone from his house. And I got to imagine that once in a while you just want to sit at home and just take a shower and sit on your own toilet.
And wander into a radio show with your buddy.
For sure. Exactly.
It does get to the point, man. You think about that, and then you have that one day off. Today's my actual day off, kind of. And I'm I just feel like I need to be doing something, because you get in that programmed mind of okay, I'm wasting time. What can I get done today? That I'm leaving on tour for the whole summer, and I have X amount of days left to get set amount of things done. I should be working on art right now. I should be planning a booking another show or whatever you want to say. But it is, man. It becomes a lifestyle completely, and it consumes you, and
I've been working on the disconnect so much lately, especially because, man, I'm just crazy about my wife, and I just it's so hard to turn everything off and just stare at my wife and be often and in the
You
moment.
mean it not work?
Humble brag.
You know?
No one's really that
I like
crazy.
my wife, Tom.
I too have been working on being gay.
I like my wife, boys. Sorry.
Yeah, I too was polishing my vagina last night. Okay.
Yeah. Every time I'm with my wife, I'm like, how can this never end?
Let's all turn our phones off and stare at each
Again,
other's eyes. We're in love.
I'm just imagining how it used to be. I mean, for Jason, like literally, he's got to be away from his life consistently all the time. It just gets very old.
Every time I hear my wife calling at me, I'm like, I wish this alarm was playing in my head 24/7.
If only I could turn off my phone so I could hear her crow louder.
Jason, we'll give you a big old hug when you get to Sanford, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm only home about a quarter of the year, so.
Jason, appreciate the time, man. We're really looking forward to seeing you at the hurricane party, and thanks as always for being a guest, man. We love talking to you.
Absolutely.
Love you,
guys
buddy.
Too, man. I'm super fired up. All the guys are super fired up. Love you too, Dom. And you guys take care. I'll see you in a week.
Yes,
All
sir.
right,
Safe travels, man. Safe travels. Be good. That is Jason from the band Authority Zero.
You know, I only asked that Lagwagon question just because, for whatever reason, in my
You
mind,
forgot we were talking to Jason from Authority Zero? You
No,
thought we were
no.
talking to Joey Cape from
No.
Lagwagon?
No, because I was.
No, I know you know.
Because in my mind, in high school, Lagwagon was one of the biggest punk rock bands, and then,
We're worried about him. We've heard some things.
And then I was like, oh, well, for sure you could just parlay that popularity from so many people around the world knowing your name to a successful.
I mean, you could.
life. Well, I don't know if I could or not.
No, you could.
I
You're
just thought
obsessed with it right now, and it's not even your band.
I thought anybody could just take like the notoriety and make it into money, but it's like
All could.
without
You
that
could.
just
The
a
business
constant
guys
grind.
in here, I don't know if you enjoy business. I'm assuming you do because you'd like. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would say you three could. I don't know if I could.
Yeah,
I'm
not
not
everybody's
that.
cut
I'm
out
not
for it,
good
though.
at doing the businessy aspects. How much business would I have going for Tom and Dan if it were just? If I were left to come here during the day and work on the businessy stuff, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
That's
be-
what I've been doing for a long
It'd be pretty
time.
bad.
Yeah.
On the Dan side of things, like so, if you put me in the Joey Cape role, I could write you a song. I can make some really good music for you. I'm not sure I could sell that music.
Well, I mean, just like I was saying again too, like after a while, man, it gets monotonous being out there, man. It gets like I just kind of want to slow down a little bit and not have to do that all the time.
Yeah, the touring is,
I get it.
After 10 years of like steady, you're just like, I mean, or I guess maybe if you're a single dude and you don't have any kids or a family at home.
It's funny in
know?
life when something that you do that you love to do so much, if you do it so much, you finally go, oh man, this is like a job now. That's the whole. That's what drinking was for me. I had the realization one day. I was like, it's like work when I do this now. Like I have to stop doing this.
Yeah. Because and
speaking of which, I got to get you guys out of here because I got to go to work.
Oh, speaking of drinking, I brought you guys some Swamp Foot.
Oh yes,
that is our
delicious Danger Brand Swamp Foot.
That
with
is it's our collaboration beer. It's a green tea Kolsch, by the way.
So we got.
look at that.
This is Danger Brain 1010 and West End Trading Company.
That's right.
That is a beautiful beer right there, buddy. Hold on,
It is a very cool label on it.
Yeah. So Danger Brain did a awesome job branding this. So and 1010 does a great job making beer. So this is available at West End currently.
That's right. Exclusively at West End, and apparently we have 3 more different kinds of beers coming out with.
We do. We have a whole line coming out.
Oh, nice.
So.
Awesome.
That's killer, y'all.
So, and when you're at West End, order a Swamp Foot, take a picture, put it on, any social media.
Who's going to be the first person to get the tattoo of the Swamp Alligator Man?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
I vote you.
Yeah, that is a cool character.
Yeah, that would be a cool tattoo. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's like an angry. He kind of looks like Paul going to push over a food truck.
Exactly.
That was in Paul's drinking years.
Yeah, I could talk about
He
that.
said he's not like that anymore.
Yeah, he's a different guy now. Now he's Little League. He's buying the pizzas, right? Like
Push over a food truck. Just yanked an individual out of a food
just
truck.
move it back and forth a little bit.
I almost just spit out spit. That was pretty funny,
I'm sorry.
man. Because it does look like that very much so.
Yeah, he's
it
angry.
does.
He's like, what the hell? The Amish Amish pretzel truck parked next to the other one.
Those people are saints, actually.
Yeah, the Amish pretzel truck
man,
people. I always use their name because it's the only one that sticks in my brain.
Again,
delicious pretzels.
Saturday, May 18th, Hurricane Party. Get your tickets. Drink at westend.com.
Yes, sir.
Hey, next week I've got Dan Kelly from Fortunate Youth calling you guys.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
So holler at your boy.
We can ask him about Lagwagon.
Yes.
Like, what's going on with Lagwagon?
You can probably ask Dan Kelly about.
Get to the bottom of it.
I thought that maybe circulating around the rumors that people were like, "Oh, this is what the truth is."
I'm glad you
because
asked.
I'm hearing it from my buddy who's just a fan. I'm like, he's getting it from forums or whatever.
I'm going to ask about. Let's ask about like completely random things.
You could ask Dan Kelly like, how many 17-pound joints have you ever smoked in your life?
Dan Kelly,
17
What
pounds.
do you think is the typical day in prison for Jared from Subway? What do you think he does?
And reggae, how many people are dicks and which one are they? I want to know.
Yeah,
tell us about your friends that you hate.
Was it Lee Scratch Perry?
Yeah.
I bet that guy is a real a-hole.
During interviews,
bless his soul.
I always think of like,
R.I.P.
what are the questions no one wants me to ask?
And then you look right at Paul.
And then I ask those.
Which guys in your band would you say don't wash their hands after they urinate? Okay.
Who leaves streaks? Who's got the stickiest doo-doo?
If you could kick one member of your band out, which one would it be?
Yeah.
I know it's Scart. And you laugh too hard
Or
about
as he's known on the streets, smart.
Smart. Oh, that was epic.
Did you see that?
I did. I sent it straight to him. I was laughing so hard.
I don't get like look, that kind of stuff. You know, it's not. I have no dog in the fight, right? I just scrolling. I saw that and I had to stop. I would stop what I was doing and laugh out loud at that.
Yeah, it's
I was like,
really
"That's the greatest thing ever." Smart.
I immediately pictured him as a Smurf too.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Okay. All right, we got to get out of here.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.